The following broadcast is intended for mature audiences. These are real people sharing very real, deeply personal experiences. This content may be considered triggering for others and for those who are sharing. The chat room is a privilege intended for discussions and sharing. You are not being asked to agree, but you are being asked to stay civil and refrain from personal attacks. Listener discretion is advised.
All right, welcome back to Am I Mental, a weekly podcast where real people share real stories about living lives with mental health issues. I'm your host, E, and with us, as always, is the co-host, Bexy.
Hello.
And tonight, you've seen him in chat. We got him on here now. We got DeVerne. This might come across as another we need supervision episode. We're hoping to be able to really accomplish getting a lot of DeVerne's story out. But he's feeling good, we're feeling good, and I tell you, just before we got live, the jokes were flying, so I have no idea what to expect. But before we get started, if you like what we're doing, please share episodes, especially ones that resonate with you or ones that you think will resonate with others. That's probably the best way to help us. It'll help us keep growing, help us reach more people, and hopefully help impact more lives in positive ways. And if you want to help us even further, please go to amimental.net/donate. We give you a number of ways to donate and even have a store with some merchandise. And if there's anything you'd like to see, by all means, let us know, and we'll go ahead and get it added. And if you want to be a guest on the show, we are booked up for 2 full seasons, but you can always reach out to us at guests@amimental.net. And I do have a little bit of bad news. In order for us to be able to get the iOS app and the the Android app, there's extra work that I have to do and extra fees that are involved. So that is going to be delayed. I'm sorry. I really, really wanted to have it for this season, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this season. However, we're going to go ahead and get the transcripts. That way people can go ahead and read through episodes. That way people who have who have a disability with listening can read episodes. And then you can also search for the stuff too online. So we'll at least get that done. But without further ado...
Oh, and the chat is already jumping.
It is. And without further ado, DeVerne, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Oh, that I can do. What's up, everybody? This is DeVerne talking to you. I'm 27 years old from Kansas City, Missouri, and I have Asperger's, and that's the main thing. It affects everything about my life. It's why I'm obsessed with trains. It's why I'm obsessed with music. It's basically why I'm obsessed with anything that I like for 5 seconds. It's also, but the biggest issue that I have today is that I get overwhelmed really easily and that I have a lot of self-doubt. And I think a lot of that is from having autism, this comorbid thing called ADHD. You might have heard of it.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And so that's the main thing. But to really understand me, all there is to know is that I love trains. I love everything that I see. I'm an observant person. I like to, when I'm out, I don't really always want to talk to people. I just want to see things and take pictures. I love like distant gray bluffs when they're like blown out by the sun, really far away, hazy. I just love seeing things. That's what I like to do. And that's why I want to be an artist. And
I've seen some of his photos. They're really good. He has a really good eye.
He really does.
You just got to work on editing after the fact. But yes. I mean, honestly, the 90% of it is getting the right photo at the right time with the right lighting. And I tell you have a really good eye. You do get a lot of those kinds of photos that, with just that extra 10% polish, would really just set them off.
I got some Christmas money and it's looking to be spent, so I might have to get Adobe.
Not a bad choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that with me last night and thinking about things. And I really think that either way you go, spending that money, whether it's with Adobe or like the Bob Ross supplies that you were wanting.
Yeah.
Either way, I think you're going to do amazing things.
Oh, thank you. That's rather nice of you to say. I think I'll do okay. I want to be famous. I want people to know me, mostly just because I want people to know my story. Not this story, many other stories that we can't speak of.
Right, but the main reason that we got you on is that a recurring theme from you in the chat is that you felt like you've wasted your life, that you've had this like complete failure to launch.
Yeah.
And that you'll get plans, but then you feel overwhelmed by them, and you lock up, freeze up, and the day just goes right past.
Yes. 27 years. Think of all how many days that is. Starting about, a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of days. And, I mean, I get it. I've been there. I'm sure a lot of us have been there.
Me too.
Yeah, it's hard to get going, but once you do, man, it's pretty awesome. And that's not to say that it's always going to be great every day. You're still going to have your setbacks. Those happen. It's how you bounce back from them that really matters.
Basically, if I was really thinking about it, I'd say once I graduated high school, about 2012, that's when the time wasting started. Because, when you're in grade school, you're not expected to have a job or to be knowing exactly what you're going to do. You're just in school. You're a kid. But once you get out of there, you basically become an overgrown person, overgrown kid, unless you get out and get going, and that's basically where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, there's intense pressure, like when you get out of high school. It's like, okay, you're a child, you have a diploma, you're an adult. There's very little transition time.
Lucky for me, my parents, which, I complain about them, but they're good to me with that. They paid for both of the colleges I met, which the first one was Maple Woods. It's just a community college. I don't even know why I had to go to that, because I just wasted, 7 years learning the same stuff that I learned in grade school, except I failed the math class, and that consistently, you could, like, a D was failing in that school,
right,
for example. So I just spent 7 years stuck there, and that's also something that I really regret. It's like, man, what a waste of time.
Right.
And it's not like I don't even think I need school, man. Like, I'm an artist. Once I figure out how to get that going, who needs school? You don't need it.
Well, I mean, I can say that there are some good classes in colleges, like community college. If you just go pick and choose, like, art composition class, might be beneficial. If you're doing like photography, a photography class help to refine your technique would be, a good one. I
did all the art classes at Maple Woods, and my art teacher just let me do whatever I want. He's like, you're great. You just do what you want. I mean, I wasn't drawing proportions. I wasn't doing anything. I was just doing what I do. And I told him, it's like, these people don't look right. And he's like, it's fine. They're DeVerne's people. And I remember that all the time. It's like,
I've seen some of your paintings. I like them. I mean, you have talent.
The paintings.
So we got a little Pablo Picasso here.
Yeah,
maybe one day.
Honestly, that the one that you showed me of like the two moons and everything, I love that. I still love that.
I remember that. I have some notes here for everything that I thought about talking about here.
Oh, go for it.
Okay.
And
you're more organized than I am. Like,
a lot of it at the beginning is just remembering myself as a kid from school. Like, I knew I was a misfit from the beginning. I didn't know why. And I don't think I knew that I knew at the time, but looking back, I know that I knew. And like, I just remember, like, I would play with the kids and they would play with me, but I could tell I didn't fit in, because, like, after you get out of the playground, you split into groups, and after school you get invited to, their house for a play date or something if it's elementary school. And
right.
that wasn't happening for me. But because of who I was and still kind of am, that observant person that just likes to see things, that wasn't really clicking to me that was happening. It kind of slipped by me. And now that I've had this anxiety in 2014 that kind of changed how I feel about things, I realized, wow, look at all this stuff that I let pass by. I could have been social and I could have fit in, not necessarily change who I was, but at least find a way to fit with people, find a group of people. But I just wasn't focused on social things. And I think when I really think about how I wasted my life, that's the biggest thing. If I had, at all been more social, I would have been a lot more happy with those days. And yeah. And
well, see, even there are people in the chat who are agreeing with you. Richard says the same, that he's a big observer, and there's nothing wrong with being an observer.
I love being an observer. I love it. It's amazing. Like you see things that are everyday things. People don't see it. Everyday people just go about their day. They don't see anything. I was noticing one day driving into school, there was a bluff. The sun was really shiny, and you could see the blue-gray bluffs. You could see the bluffs closer that were brown because of the trees. And then I could see in the clouds a very bright outline, and I knew that was the edge of the sky on a very, very blown out bluff because it was so far away. And I realized at that moment, it's like 99% of the people on this road do not even see that. I'm the only person probably on this road that would even think to be looking for that. And I thought that was really cool. So I love being an observer. What I'm wishing was that I'd been able to fit in, because I thought for the longest time that being what I was the problem. And I wasn't appreciating that necessarily fully, because I thought I need to figure out what people like. But I was too nervous, you see, because I had all my emotions still. So that nervousness to even try was strong in me. And so I just wouldn't even try. The one thing that I think anxiety did for me by erasing a lot of what I can feel is that nervousness is gone. And so now I can, get girls, even if I don't keep them for long because they leave, I can get them at least. I can reel them in. And so there's a lot of good benefits to it. It's just that I would like to be able to have strong feelings again and find that perfect balance. And one of the things that I had written out here was that I wondered how medicine would have affected that, because I talk in chat a lot about sometimes the way my mom would sort of, the way she would interact with me. And I'm wondering, some of that is a little bit her just like being a little too short-tempered and just unrealistically short-tempered, but a lot of it also probably would have been helped with medicine. But then I think about that debate that you often have on here, how much the medicine changes your personality, or right. What does it actually do? So part of me is really happy that I didn't do that, or that they didn't think to do that. But another part of me is like, how much shit would have been avoided if we had just done this.
Well, and that's assuming that you got the right.
Right.
Because if you get the wrong, and it just makes life worse.
Right. And I mean, you have people that are already, people here in the chat that are already saying, that they miss, being an observer, like sitting in an airport terminal watching people, sitting in an air conditioner mall and people watching. And Justin says, I was never the most social in my formative days either, man. To this day, I'm still not. And the important thing is having the right people to share in those social moments, which I totally agree with.
Oh, yeah, that makes total sense. You want the right people. You don't want the wrong people to be associated with you. You want these nice people that make you feel good and understand you.
Right, and that you can understand them as well.
Right.
You got to have that
exactly.
bond.
I just think, what was I going to say? That happens all the time. Does that happen to you?
When you were talking about, you're observing, did you ever watch the movie American Beauty?
No.
This movie it's really hard to really describe because it has a lot of twists in it. There are some parts that are just genuinely twisted, but the neighborhood boy, he's one of those guys who just sees the world differently. And he was one of those ones where he sat and recorded a plastic bag moving around in like a breeze. And he said that the plastic bag danced for him for like an hour, and it was one of the most amazing things he ever saw.
I've noticed things like that before.
And they showed it and like that, and it was like, when you have it in that mindset that it's dancing for you, it just absolutely changed the way that you look at things.
It totally does. The world becomes this magical place. You see things
I
differently.
mean, that scene in that movie is so iconic. Even Family Guy stole it, and they used, Peter was watching a plastic bag dance.
Yes, they did.
Like you start to see things different. You see a safety barrel sitting on the side of the road, and you say, well, doesn't that look happy? Because you see that it's round and those stripes curve with it, and so they look slightly like a smile, like a little grin.
Unfortunately, there's a scene in that movie that was a little too prophetic. I'll just put it that way. That it involves Kevin Spacey.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love him as an actor, but I don't like him as a person.
Some people suck, man.
Yeah.
Some people suck.
And that movie,
People do.
That movie, it's basically a tragedy of misunderstanding in a lot of ways. But it is such a great movie.
It is a great movie. Even Justin is saying, watch that movie, DeVerne. And Richard says, find a group of friends who want to go people watch together.
That is so much fun.
Not a bad idea. Good idea. I've always just been a kid that's like locked up in his room by choice watching train videos from like Pentrax or Pletz Express, just like hardcore videos, so much information. I'm the one guy that can tell you that a random town pops up on the map for the weather, and I can say, I know what railroad goes through there, or, oh, that's cool, I know what train goes through, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation about trains with you because I used to live right beside a train track when I was younger.
So did I.
Like, I'll be driving down the interstate, and I'll be like, here's Osawatomie, Kansas. I know what train goes, I know what line goes through there, and I'll probably know the name of the train track. And the railroad, possibly. Depends on the area. That's the kind of person I am. I just see so many things.
I think it's really funny that, your love of trains actually brought you a couple years ago within 15 minutes of me, and I didn't even know it. Or we didn't know each other then.
So hilarious to me how that even happened. How's that possible? Yes, I remember that. I was sitting there with Dad probably for a couple hours at least, just watching the trains go by, and I had no idea that you existed, and it would have been like, if I had known, I would have been like, Dad, we gotta go visit Bexy. It's so amazing.
It would have been really cool, but I mean, I know you now, so
yes, you
that's
do.
Good.
The question is, will I ever be back in Saginaw? We don't know. Oh man. I'm trying to think of what to say. I have a lot of stuff here.
Whatever you need to say, dude. This is your show.
This is my show. Let me read this for a second. I just remember, like, the biggest way that I would like not fit in is that I remember I would make sounds. I can't believe I'm admitting this to like so many people, but I would make sounds. Like my school bus made this really unique noise, and so I would mimic the noise, and it was the weirdest thing. And I would do that with train horns too, but there was only one time I did that in public, and I remember a teacher saying, shh, be quiet, or something like that, or stop that, or whatever, because it was weird. She probably saved me some weird moment with some bully or whatever, but I remember that because I used to be a little more open with it, and then I would just hide it. I would just hide that. I'm a very secretive person, I think, in a lot of ways. But the biggest thing that holds me back is just being overwhelmed with thoughts, because I will have so many thoughts going through my mind, like a million thoughts, all related to each other, and I'll want to do it all at once, but I don't necessarily have the ability to do any of it, and so it'll drive me crazy, and I just won't even try. It'll burn really bright, and then it'll burn out, That's what happens to me. And then the self-doubt comes in right after and is like, man, why are you even thinking about that? You aren't going to be able to do that. You can't do that. You're not good, man. That happens. That's basically my process. I'm on top. I'm like, I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. I'm going to be everything. And then it immediately goes to, whoop. Why'd you even think that, man? What have you done to do that? You can't do that. You're trash. I'm not saying I'm trash.
You're not.
I'm not.
You're not.
I'm absolutely not, but that's what my brain says sometimes, because it's being mean to me, you see.
It is amazing how much self-doubt and how much we can all be every single one of us can be our own worst enemy when it comes to things like that.
Right. It's like,
it's
because like I have like so much indecision. Like I won't trust myself to do anything without my dad's help. You see, he's always been that, that guy that he'll help me, or by help he'll just do it for me, which is nice, I guess. But now it's like,
you don't learn that way. That's the problem.
Exactly. And so now I feel dependent in that way, or codependent. And so because of that, I just sit around getting clusters of overwhelmed thoughts about what I want to be, what I could be, what I should be, what I could have been. And it just drives me nuts until it goes away. And then I'm just empty, you see. That happens all the time. But I think that's sort of what happens to artists. I think we're all kind of semi-depressive, really observant types of people for the most part.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that.
Oh, yeah. Justin says, deal with the same thing daily, DeVerne. Part of the key, at least to me, is just making the first step. Even if it is just a little one, any one step is one step closer to your goals.
That's very true.
We've talked about this on the show before. I mean, even baby steps are progress. And there's no reason to be ashamed of going slowly or taking small steps and doing it one thing at a time.
The biggest thing for me would be taking a small step to begin with. It's like I'll sit there like I'm gonna take this small step. I'm gonna take the small step, but then it ends up that I'm just sitting around watching videos of how to take these small steps whilst not taking the small step. You see.
Yes, I get that, because I mean, you've been talking for a couple days about what to do with the money that you have from Christmas and everything like that, and it's like, I think that once you make your final decision and you buy, whether it's the painting supplies or the photo editing software, that's the first small step you need to take, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get like the Bob Ross set and Skillshare just to learn stuff, because I think that's the future. Skillshare has everything. I just like every video I watch, everybody's being sponsored by Skillshare. It's just driving me crazy. It's like, will they stop showing me these ads if I just buy it? If I just get the subscription, will they stop showing me so many Skillshare ads?
Probably not.
They just pop up everywhere. Here's a good little nugget. I'm going to read this word for word because I think I did it right. I have tons of self-doubt. A lot of it, I guess, it comes from just never having fit in or feeling heard. And like from some of those fights with my mom that her and I would get into, because she would overreact. I think it's whether or not it's an overreaction, it's how she reacted, because yelling is never good for an autistic person. And my dad tried to get her to understand that, but she never would. But she's a good mom. I'm not saying that. Like, she does a lot of good things. She just has that's one issue. It's just that some of that self-doubt comes from that, and it's programmed into me now. It's just stuck. And that's my biggest issue, I think, that I have to fight. I have to fight that self-doubt. It's like, because what's funny is that, like what I said, there's just these days where I'm really on top and I can just see everything. Like I think I'm I don't want to say this because it sounds like I'm so cool. But I feel like I could be a visionary somewhat for my own life, and I can see it. But then right afterwards, I just drop down and it's gone. It's just completely gone. And it's just like this self-doubt and this realism. And so I get into this cycle, and it's like, it's a constant cycle. And so I'll get really sad sometimes, or even if I don't really feel that way outwardly or the way that you would expect, because I'm numb, I'll type that way because those will be what my thoughts are. And so I had a girlfriend once, and she told me that being sad or having self-doubt isn't sexy. And so we clearly are not together anymore. But I guess she was an asshole, basically. But
I mean, at the same time, there is some validity to that. I hate to say it, but
I was going to say, to a point, it makes sense. Like, you can't, you need people to be able to be happy, because that energy spreads. Energy, that's all life is energy. And so if the bad energy spreads, no one's going to like that.
Yeah, Brandy says, and the people who have never experienced the put downs that cause the self doubt have no understanding of how in your head you can get because of what someone else said to make you doubt yourself. Which I agree with that. I know that
100%.
firsthand.
100%. That is
I know that
so
firsthand.
true.
And we also have a question for you.
Oh, tell me.
Richard wants to know, what medium of art do you use?
Well, I have been drawing a lot, and really all I would do is draw with a regular pencil on printer paper, and I would use colored pencils. And I realize that's probably not the best or archival thing, but that's what I've done. What I want to do is I want to use oils on canvas, obviously, and I also consider photography a medium. So for that, I would say a Canon Rebel T6.
Nice.
And Kat says, think about removing should be and think more about what you can be, want to be, aspire to be.
I do that a lot. That last part.
She's got a really good point there. When you start speaking to yourself more positively, more kindly, it will make a difference. It doesn't happen right away, but eventually those voices, all of that self-doubt, they start to fade into the background. And I'm just speaking from personal experience with that.
There's a guy that said something similar. His name is Marcus. I don't remember his last name because he's German, but his name is Marcus Pix. That's his photography YouTube channel. And he has a health channel too. And he's
wow. We just lost everybody. Give me a minute here. I'm going to try to get everybody back. Just 1 minute. Sorry. Yeah, just all of a sudden, like, the whole app just crashed. So, I wish I had some hold music or something that I could play right now, but I don't. So, yeah, sorry about that. Again, we're just having some technical difficulties. Not going to be too talkative while I'm trying to get this fixed. All right, looks like we got DeVerne back now. No, we're just waiting.
I do not know what happened.
That sucked.
Yeah,
the app just crashed on my side.
I guess it did on my side too, because that happened at the exact same time. That was weird.
So I said, sorry, I don't really have any music for this because we have some technical difficulties in the chat. Brandy's LG, who do you know that likes to do music? I mean, the intro music, outro music, that was done by me. I love writing music. Justin said, so long as it isn't Africa by Toto, we're good. I'm sorry, Justin, but those are fighting words. Cat, insert Jeopardy music.
Oh man, leave it to me to cause the technical issues. I did this to you. I don't know how, but I did it.
Nah,
I'm sorry.
don't blame
dog.
you. Just wait for
I'm just being dumb. Being dumb.
You were in the middle of saying something.
And I think I was doing. I think it was an okay rambling.
No, absolutely was.
But now it's a broken up rambling, and I don't remember what the rambling was.
So let's see if the people in the chat get that. And I'm just waiting for Bexy here. As I was dealing with an emergency that popped up on my side, so I wasn't paying super close attention. I'm sorry for that.
Oh, it's all right, man. Stuff happens,
Where is Bexy?
And we weren't on for that long, really, so we'll be fine. Yeah. We're good.
So Justin just said, funny story about that cat. When I was doing online training for my employer, the gentleman running the course would play Africa during every single break on repeat. Okay, I can understand that then. And a cat in little asterisk, someone pushed the wrong button. You think? Okay, Bexy's coming in now.
There we go. We got our Bex back. Almost. There's our Bex.
There's Bexy.
Hello.
Zoom didn't like what I was saying. It kicked us out. It was mad at us.
Man.
How dare you talk about things? Get off of my Zoom. I don't know. I'm not good at jokes sometimes. I talk too much. Let's get back to painting. That's what Bob Ross would say. I mean, I kind of like them asking me questions. If they have questions about things, just make them.
Well, the last comment before I got kicked was Richard saying that you can scan your drawings so you can save the sketches.
Yeah, that's one thing. One day, hopefully, I'll be able to invest in is a big old scanner. You know, one of those Canon printers where you can like make prints of your art and your photography. That would be great. Those things are expensive though, but they're worth it. I don't remember what I was rambling about. I wish I did because it was a good ramble.
We were the last I remember we were talking about you speaking more kindly to yourself and now I've lost my train of thought. Don't you hate it when that happens?
I do hate it. It happens to me all the time. I'm constantly losing my train of thought. Like it's just always, it derails all the time.
I've always said that I have a skipping stone of thought.
That would be a good band name, Skipping Stones.
Oh yeah, Justin says you were talking about dealing with your mom.
Oh, I know where I must have been. Thank you, Justin. You're a good man. Let's see where that was. Yeah, okay. But basically what I was saying was that like what's funny is that, oh, I remember what I said, because I was talking about how it's weird going up and down with those thoughts. Oh, we were talking about the self-doubt. I know what it was now. Okay, because you said, Mr. E, you were saying that there was a point that that ex-girlfriend had a point, and it's true. She did. Because energy spreads, and when you spread negative energy, no one wants to be around that too much.
Right.
That's why that's what makes it hard when you do have those kind of problems, because they will tell you that they want you to just be honest with them and just be yourself. But the second that you are yourself, that's a problem.
Right.
And I think everybody's experienced that. Someone that says, I love you so much. You can be you can just be honest with me. Tell me everything. And you tell them everything and they're like, bye.
Yeah, it's just too much for them to be able to handle all at once.
Even if it's not that much, like for me, it's like, yeah, I have self-doubt. Some days I just don't feel great. That's literally it, So it's just weird to me how someone would claim to, love you and want to be around you all the time, and then they're like, nope. You tried to be honest with me. How about I have an ex that was just recent, like it was only lasted for like a few weeks, and she claimed that I wasn't saying that I was hiding something from her. I told her everything. And so I'm guessing that that was her lame excuse for, I'm not ready for a boyfriend, because I was her first one. Same age as me, 27. Isn't that weird? Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, with my current wife,
yeah,
I am her first long-term relationship.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, and we've been married now for 10 years.
Dang.
She always stayed until the newness and the, that like a new relationship has that little kind of that weird spark and energy around it. As soon as that faded, she was gone.
Oh.
But I had kids, and that changed things.
Kids change everything, I assume.
Oh, yes. in the most positive way for me.
Well, yes, I can tell from everything you've told this podcast, I would say it's helped you out a great deal.
Oh yeah, my kids are my life.
Well, that's good, man.
Justin says the problem is people have unrealistic expectations when they tell you to be yourself because they are not prepared for the depths we start to show. And I can agree with that.
I can agree with that.
That is 100% true.
My wife tried to scare me away by just dumping everything on me one night because I was pursuing a serious relationship and because I had the kids, and she was like, well, I don't know if I'm, like if I would be, like me, would be ready to have her around permanently. So she tried to scare me off by just dumping everything. And I was like, yeah, okay. Nothing worse than I've done, so I'm good. So...
You'll see the difference for me is being autistic. I'm literal, and so when someone asks me to tell them stuff, I'll just tell them. I dump all the information off like from the very beginning. Like we're just a weekend. It's like she knows everything.
Yeah,
so maybe
only being a weekend, that's a lot.
That can be a problem. That could probably be a problem I need to work on. I think it's an autistic thing. If there's anybody in the mental health chat there that does the same thing or has experienced that, let me know. I want to hear this. I'm trying to. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. E?
No, it's actually kind of funny you call me that. I had an old boss that used to call me that, and then he just ran it together to make me Mystery.
All right, Mystery, what you got? come at me.
So I I understand coming up with a plan, and then you wake up in the morning and you're like, all right, I got my plan. I thought it all out last night. This is going to be success. You get out of bed, you go, you start your morning routine. You brush your teeth and you get dressed. Maybe you take a shower beforehand. And
wait, you're supposed to brush your teeth?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's what I've been told. And then you're just like, okay, now to take on step one. I've never done step one before. This is an insurmountable task. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to just take a minute. I'm going to go ahead and sit down at my computer. I'm going to watch a YouTube video. 12 hours later.
Yes. And I'm literally watching videos about the things that I want to do, but instead of actually trying to apply what they say, I just watch another one of their videos. That's all I will do. I will spend all day doing that.
Right. So it's I don't really have a question to ask since I've been there. I've lived that. I still do some days.
I have fallen down many a YouTube rabbit hole.
I fall down all the rabbit holes. I'm on the Insta rabbit hole.
For a good solid 2 months, I fell down a rabbit hole of spider videos.
Well, yep.
And I can't imagine why. Was it because of E? Was that why?
Oh, most definitely.
Do you think it was E that did that to you?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Then we both fell down the rabbit hole of Coyote Peterson's going through the insect pain, the insect pain index for stings.
Oh my god, that was so great.
Oh man! And then when he started talking about the executioner wasp, he hyped it up for a year, and I was like, man, he's going to overhype this thing. No, it was worth it. It was just absolutely spot on, perfect. Man, I do not want to go anywhere near an executioner wasp.
Oh no. No.
Yeah, stay away from those things. Keep the murder hornets away, all that stuff. Keep it all away.
Oh, he got stung by a murder hornet, too.
Nope. That's it. Curtains. I'm done with nope.
He said the murder hornet was pretty bad. It was comparable to a Gila monster bite, but it was nothing compared to the executioner wasp.
And knowing that, when people started to freak out about murder hornets, I was like, Coyote says it's not that bad.
Right? It's painful, but it's not that bad. But then when
survivable.
And then everyone started thinking that the cicada killers were murder hornets.
And they weren't even here to begin with.
We do have cicada killers. We have
the murder hornets.
No, it was just a couple of stowaways.
Yeah.
The climate over here is just not conducive for their health. Plus, being on a boat for that long with no food, they get over here, they're practically just emaciated. But he went ahead and got this. He wasn't coming out of retirement, which is unfortunate because there's a couple of species I'd love to find out where they lay in the, the pain index. But he took the cicada killer, got stung by it, and he's like, ugh! Then like 20 seconds later, he's like, this really isn't all that bad. It was just the initial shock of it would kind of hurt, but yeah, this is like Yellow Jacket level, maybe less.
I actually have a question for you, E, and this is based on myself. I've been curious about the whole medicine thing, like if it would change my creative process, because the whole autism thing and the way I create and the way I get jumbles of thoughts. I imagine when I get on like an artistic role that that would be my process and it would be interesting. But if I take that medicine, it would alter that.
Yeah,
and you're on medicine, so what do you think? And you're creative too. So.
I am. No, that is actually you're the first person to ever ask that. That is a great question. And
it really is.
And I can say that there are some medicines that have absolutely squished my ability to create, but those also are the ones that made me emotionally flatline. Actually, it was on the mental health subreddit that someone posted a fantastic, I guess it was more of a meme than it was a comic, where it shows, what you're supposed to feel like when you are on an antidepressant, and it showed like a happy Wojak, if you know who the Wojak meme is. But it goes, what really happens, and it's just a blank, it's just like the silhouette.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that's what a lot of them are like, but I mean, I'm on my meds, and you heard what I produced just the other day.
It was amazing.
Yeah, you tell me. The right meds allow you to focus a little bit better. I can say that, and that does help the creative process. When you can still feel and you can focus.
Because I guess I'm just worried about going through that process at all and losing any energy from it.
It is terrifying, but I mean, it's again when it comes down to like the meds for mental health and stuff like that. It's not a precise science. The only way that they can find out exactly what they need from you. They'd have to get do a spinal tap and maybe a biopsy of a part of your brain in order to figure out which chemicals are not there and which aren't. And let's face it, that's a big ouch. And
no thanks, I'm out.
Yeah.
Nope.
So what they have to do is they go, okay, well here are the symptoms. Here's the diagnosis. What meds fit this diagnosis and work with these symptoms? And let's see if this helps. Unfortunately, sometimes like the meds that can help, they can hurt as well. Like sometimes it's like instead, like if you have an imbalance of like a specific chemical, if it's imbalanced where you have too much, it may come across the same way as if you had too little, and they don't know. So that they're like, "Here, try this." Well, now you went from too much to way too much. And go, okay, now let's use the opposite kind of med and see what happens. So yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm just kind of sitting here like, but I had anxiety, and so that numbed me. Like June 2015, I became numb. And so now I don't even necessarily feel that mental healthy, like on the autistic side of things. Like I just feel, and I do feel kind of flatlined. So I'm like, do I even need the medicine? Because if I felt like really, if I still had all my feelings and I was like really like, oh crap, I feel like crap and I'm overwhelmed, I'm just bouncing off the walls feeling like crap, then I would think I really need those meds. But now I just...
And I mean, I'll say this, when you get on the right meds, like, okay, the way I've explained it before is like when I didn't have my meds, it wouldn't take much, and I'd feel like, those like aluminum or like metal Corona buckets for the Corona beer?
Yeah.
It's like I'd have one of those over my head, and everything would be distorted and over loud and oversensitive, and it would just cause me to get really frustrated and angry all the time. And I couldn't really see anything around me because I was so encased in just that chaotic confusion and rage. And when I was on the right meds, it was like that bucket just got lifted off of my head. And I could see the world. And things started making sense. I was a lot more calm. I was a lot more focused. My creative process, once I was properly medicated, it actually increased. So, yeah.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only reason I really want to be an artist, I think, is because all I did was observe life this whole time. I never documented it that much, except for trains. And I just wasn't being social. So the only way to validate that time and being this weird autistic, mental health person is to make art that people relate to, somehow. That's the only way I think I could validate feeling like I wasted my time.
I would say don't worry so much. And this is my own being my own artist and what I've
Sure.
discovered. Because I've been writing music, since I got out of high school. And even before then, I was still experimenting with writing music. Don't try to appeal to others with your art. Appeal to yourself. Whatever
Sure.
makes you feel best. And what will happen is that others who are like you will start to find you, and they will start to follow you, and they'll start associating. And the moment you try catering to their wants, they will know, and they will shoot you down for it.
I'm kind of just sitting here like, I want to be the Paul McCartney of painting. It's basically what it is.
Yeah, but Paul McCartney writes music for Paul McCartney. He just
I
happens
know.
to have a lot of people that like what he does.
Of course. I'm just sitting here like, that's the dream. That's the dream.
One of the best examples I could give, if you ever listen to, if you like more classic rock or just rock and roll, Sammy Hagar's album Marching to Mars, right after he got released from Van Halen, was an absolutely brilliant album. I loved everything about it. Every song, every note. I thought it was just a complete gem from beginning to end. Because he was writing from his soul, for himself, as a solo artist, something he wasn't able to do for a very long time while he was with Van Halen.
Right.
His very next album, Boss Tequila, he wrote what he thought his fans would appreciate. And that album was a stink bomb.
No, because like I want to write I want to make what's for me, but I want to reach that little point where that magical moment where what I make for me is what everybody wants. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and those people will find you as long as you're putting it out there. They will find you.
Oh,
That is very true. I don't write
they will find
for
you.
anybody but myself.
And that's important as artists. We have to find that balance. But
And now we actually have a lot of comments. So we
ooh,
might wanna
talk to me.
Yeah,
pick them up
yeah, we
here.
do.
Tell me.
Okay,
I want to hear.
So, we have Lennon who's saying you have to find the medication that works for you. Justin says, personally, I believe most people believe they have to walk on eggshells when focusing on individuals like yourself and others who didn't have the typical upbringing, mostly due to ignorance. But they don't understand that turning away also creates a slew of issues like self-doubt or lack of self-worth when they do.
And he also had a really good one before that, too. I don't know if it showed up on your chat or not.
I'm not sure if it did.
One that says not to try and switch this around to focus on me, DeVerne. But I understand, not necessarily due to what you experienced, but I dealt with a number of traumas growing up, and they had lasting impacts on me. So when people want me to open up, I attempt to explain those events, and suddenly they kind of shy away from me, as if I were damaged goods, in air quotes. Not everyone did, but most people turn nervously really fast when I bring these events up.
Yeah, I feel that. You're right, man. That I feel you. That fits perfectly with this, man. I'm sorry that happened to you, dude. That's shitty, man.
Yeah.
That happens to me, I think, a lot of the time, except it's not like a nervous reaction. It's just at some point you're like, you know what? I just want to be friends, you know?
Right.
That happens all the time.
And what a lot of people don't, what they fail to understand is that you made it through those traumas.
Yeah.
And they do shape a bit of who you are, but they should focus more on who you are now, not
Yes.
who you were during the trauma.
It's like, of course, you're going to be a different person if you had 4 bullies in, elementary school and you had this anxiety at a certain point where you felt you're going to die all the time. It's like, of course, you're not going to be the same person after that. But if you made it through it somehow, especially without medicine, by the way, people should think better of you than that.
Right.
Some
Kat
people
says-
focus just on the negative. That's the problem. And I'm sorry I cut you off there, Bexy.
You want to know?
Okay.
You want to know how I got through this anxiety, where I felt like my stomach was burning, my stomach was tight, felt nauseous all the time, my brain felt weird, I thought I was dying. You want to know how I got through all of that? You know the only tools I had?
I'm really curious.
Gum, chewing gum, and bottled water. That's all I had, and that's what I got through it with. And one day it went away, and for 2 days I was normal. I was the way I used to be, and I was standing in this room This was before the guitar got here, and something happened. You know that electricity that you both probably are experiencing right now? You feel it inside of you somehow. You don't really think about it, but it's there.
I don't actually feel that myself.
Okay, maybe you already lost it, but I had that moment where I could feel that feeling leaving, like that feeling that makes you.
Oh, like you just suddenly got de-energized.
Yeah, that the Energizer Bunny ran out of juice, and you could just feel it leaving. I could feel it leaving my body, and that's when I changed. And this is another thing that bothers me, and because of mental health, it's always bouncing around my head. Is like, so any growth that I make from that moment on, is that actually growth, or is that just because I had anxiety? You know, is that the anxiety that did presence? Is that it, or is it? Oh wow, you finally grew. Look at this. Look what you did. You know, there's no easy way to answer that, and that drives me nuts all the time. And then that makes me, get into my weird overwhelmed state, and then the self-doubt comes, and it kind of does it all over again.
Right.
Happens all the time. Because I'm just like, I used to just only love classic rock. Since we mentioned that was the only music I would listen to. The Beatles were the only band that was the best. Modern music, I wouldn't even listen to it. I think, oh, that's crap. Okay, that's just trash. And then suddenly, after y'all probably saw me in the chat that one night when music came up, and I was defending every single kind of music, even auto-tune.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
Yeah.
And the only reason I think that happened is because anxiety happened. And then when it left, that ability of being too stubborn because of my autism, that was one of the biggest traits I had autistically. It left. It was gone. But what was also gone was my ability to feel true emotions. And so that probably also doesn't help with being overwhelmed and with feeling self-doubt, because even though you're thinking the thoughts and you feel it somewhere, you have to, because how could you think about it if you don't feel it? That feeling isn't there, and that drives me crazy.
Now, there are people asking if you have any social
Yes.
media or if you have any of your art on any social media sites.
Now, I'm going to say the art that I do have up on my Instagram is not art that everybody's going to want to see. Let's just put it that way. But I have a lot of photographs there, if y'all want to see those.
And I was wondering if you'd be okay if I went ahead and threw up your train picture that I wound up showing what the editing software can do.
Do it.
Yeah, okay. I was going to throw that up on the Facebook page.
If y'all do it. And if y'all want to, go on.
Can I drop the link to your Instagram here?
Yes. I was going to say, everybody come follow me on Instagram. I got some crazy pictures of trains, of birds, of trees.
Yeah, he's got a really good eye.
He really does.
So
fountains, water.
there's some awesome pictures on there.
That's my current aesthetic. At some point it's going to be paintings and photography, but for now it's not. If you scroll down too far, there's some crazy drawings down there. And those paintings that Bexy was referencing earlier. But I think for the moment, I've found a pretty decent aesthetic, starting around this one post of a sunset in downtown Kansas City, kind of on the edge of the city. And right there, I found a good aesthetic that I'm happy with.
Nice.
But it's exciting. I want to try to keep a pretty decent aesthetic with the kinds of pictures that I do post. Like that one picture that we're talking about, I didn't post that because it's too blown out. It's not like something's wrong.
Oh, I thought it was really good as it was. I'm also putting in the comment, just showing what you could do if you don't mind me putting that one up there.
Do it. But at some point, I want my paintings to reflect that. See, the interesting thing about me, now this isn't exactly mental health. This is the artist side of me, which probably will show you the obsessed side of me, of how I get obsessed about things and think too much. Because a lot of artists have a focus, right? They say, this is my medium. This is the kind of subject or idea that I want to go after, right? This is the mood I want to create, That's not me. I want to create landscapes. I want to do paintings of landscapes. I want to do paintings of people, of trains, of just about anything you could think of, and of R-rated stuff too. Like I just want to be all over the place. Like I don't think I'll ever have a focus, And so that's what you can probably expect from this Instagram, like a couple of years down the road, hopefully, maybe 3, 4.
And right now, if you guys go to facebook.com/mentallivecast, you'll see the picture of the train and I flat out said DeVerne has a great eye. And then in the comments, I spent less than a minute editing just to show DeVerne what you can do with some editing software. And I really think it highlights the 90% that is purely his eye alone. And it shows a little bit of that 10% where once he learns how to do the editing and gets it out, he'll blow this out of the water. I mean, I did a 1-minute edit, and I'm not a photo editor, but just to kind of show him that polish can make a huge difference. But you have to have that amazing photo to begin with.
Yeah, you can't.
I mean, you polish a turd, you have a polished turd.
Right. You can't easily you can't just make a good photo unless you're a photo compositor.
I dropped the link to that picture on the Facebook page in the chat too.
Because like there's people that will go to like this site called Envato Elements, like Benny Productions on YouTube and Instagram actually. He'll go to there and he'll take like 12 pictures and he'll give himself an hour and he'll make this crazy composition out of it. So sometimes you can, but with real photography, you got to get it in the moment.
You do.
There's no option. You have to get it. And sometimes you have to be fearless. Like, I'm going to take this picture of this stranger and it's going to be okay. That's street photography. I don't know. Some people get really fearless with it. I'm still getting used to that. So.
And then Kat said that I don't have Facebook anymore, lost access when I got the cell phone. Well, the Mental Livecast, it's a public page. It's for this, the Am I Mental podcast. So you should be able to access it without an account. And Justin said that your photo compositions are very well captured.
Oh, thanks, man.
See, I didn't get that.
And Brandy said that you have an eclectic focus.
Ah, thank you. Those are lovely comments. I quite like them.
And Kat, just now, wow. Smiley face with star eyes. Just scrolling through your Instagram account and basically hearting every picture.
Oh, that's what it was.
That was the very thing that we talked about before we started going, God, it'd be crazy if this happened and I don't know how to mute it.
but I figured out how to mute it after the last notification came in.
Nice. But that was prophetic.
Oh, I know, right? Like, it's crazy. But I'm glad. Thanks, Kat. I'm glad you like them.
Yeah, now I'm looking through it too. Wow, dude, seriously. These pictures are great. Like, some of these are so good that you don't even really need to edit them. They're just really
They're
good.
amazing.
My favorite one is of 1427, that BNSF locomotive there. I'm pretty happy with how it came out.
Actually, what I find crazy is you have that one, it's right below you wearing the mask for the Burlington Northern Santa Fe.
Yeah.
The one right below, it's just that signal light from the side. It's something so mundane, especially if you grew up around, railroads. It's such a mundane thing, but you captured it beautifully.
And see, that's the thing. People think that's mundane, but to me, it's that's the one thing I was paying attention to. It's look, trains. I like these things. What?
Yeah.
People...
But you have that faded background, which is really hard to pull off, having it where you get that faded background from being out of focus and the in focus that close. But you nailed it. That is a brilliant, brilliant photo.
I'm glad you love that, man. I just wanted to get a picture of me with that mask on because I've always been saying that logo, that's their first logo, by the way. So that's not their current logo. They have 3, but I have always thought that looks like the Scream face. You know what I'm saying? So It looks like I have a big old Scream on my face. I'm like, that's what it feels like to me. So I love that they put that on a mask.
Wow. Yeah. Seriously, actually, I need to stop looking at you. We have a podcast to run.
I mean, you can follow. I mean, if you would like, you can boost my numbers and follow me. I mean, that'd be great.
Oh yeah. And then Kat, I agree. I love the fountain too. She was saying I love the fountain.
Oh, thank you.
You definitely got some wonderful photos.
Yeah, you definitely just got yourself some fans.
I'm glad because I need more fans. I want fans, and I like fans. Fans.
I would say that a lot of your photo compositions remind me of Ansel Adams, but in color.
Oh, that's so cool because he's the one guy that I did a presentation on in this one photography class that I took like in 2015.
Yeah,
It was a night class.
yeah, Ansel Adams' pictures are just amazing, and I think you have a very similar eye.
His eye was, to be compared to him, is like amazing because he was really good.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
the black and white days too. Like you had to develop the film, you had to know.
Yeah, and I helped my ex-wife with because she did take some photography courses where you had to develop your own film and you had to process the negatives and all that. And there were times where it's like, okay, we need a little more exposure in this corner, but we don't want any more exposure in these areas. So you start waving your hand in front of the light back and forth, so that way you don't burn your hand shadow in, but you reduce the exposure on the film in certain areas while you're trying to get more exposure. I mean, and that's the kind of stuff that they had to do back in the day.
It was a real craft back then. There was
Yeah.
so much craft to it. There still is, but it's more about what angles you get now and how much you expose things, not actually having to hand
And
produce the film.
And as sad as the photo, like the story it tells, but the photo itself is just so brilliant. The one where you had the camera practically on the ground with all the feathers.
Yes.
And just the feathers were in focus and only the twigs that were near them. And again, just great composition.
As soon as I saw that, it's like, I want a picture of this because how often do you see the snow goose feathers just lying around there?
Right?
It's like, I had to.
If talking about this makes me want to break out my camera again.
Do it. Break it out. Make
Like,
magic happen.
Seriously, those kinds of photos, you put them on FOP, you will get a following there, and you will start making money. Those are so good.
I need to get some. I need to FOP. I need
Yeah.
to FOP. I need to FOP up.
Yeah, I mean, seriously though, like I've seen some of the photos that win in FOP. You are right there with those winners. Seriously, you will win some money out of that and some prizes.
Dang.
And what they do is like people like they'll do like a challenge where like Dove soap will do a challenge where like this is what we want in the photo, and you might fall right in line with something that you've already taken a photo of or something that you're interested in taking a photo of anyway. And then you turn around, and you get $1,000 and they use that photo in an ad campaign.
Dang, that would be nice.
A lot of them though, it's like like it's like maybe like someone who has a band that they're starting out, and they pay $25 for one of your photos. I mean, that's $25 that you didn't have before, and your photo's getting exposed on this band's album. Even if they never do more than just like local shows, it's still exposure,
Right.
Definitely.
Cat
and it's still money.
Mid-sip ice cream. Oh, just dirty snow. And then she says they are ridiculously wonderful.
And she also
Oh
said,
yes.
the train just getting started, pattern slightly blurred, and your red car. Yeah, she's in love with your photos.
That was that's one of my favorite happy accidents. That was a good day. The camera and I were just getting to be friends, and that train was coming out of the power plant across the street, which I had never seen happen before. It was a cool day. Felt good, and it was.
Oh, Kat says, I'd love prints of some of them. Sunsets, bald eagle, fountains.
There you go. You just got yourself a customer now. Not just a fan, but a customer.
All right. Well, you know what, Kat? Go ahead and. I know it's crazy to say because people are nuts, but go ahead and give me the DM, and I'll see about trying to figure that out. Show me which ones. I'll do it. We'll make that happen.
Hey, and you know what? This might be your first step on accomplishing some of your plans and getting you, get out of that failure to launch, get out of that I'm wasting my life.
This is what we need.
Just looking at your Instagram alone, you're not wasting your life.
But like all these pictures are recent, like from December 2018 to now. Like I just started.
Yeah, that's not wasting your life. You did some great stuff.
I'm glad you think so. But see, the reason I would say that though, the only reason I would say that is because like before then, like from when I was 6 years old, 1998 to like 2013, we traveled to like the 48 contiguous states. And so I had like, my parents took pictures, but I'm just sitting here like, how was I not thinking I should take pictures? Like, I love what I'm seeing. How come I'm not photographing this? Like, it took me a while to catch on, but like, now that I've caught on, I'm going to take pictures everywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
These
definitely.
I'm still scrolling through them. I'm trying to pay attention to the chat. I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to go through your photos. I mean, even just the traffic signal, just the angle that you got it, it tells a story.
Yes.
I love traffic signals so much.
It shows that
Kat
you love
says
these
you are
things.
definitely not wasting your life.
Well, I'll give you. I've never printed photos. I don't have a printer. I'll have to look where I can get them printed. But I think I cannot let this pass by. We gotta make a deal, Kat. Let's make a deal.
I'm pretty sure there are websites. I know that you can order prints and stuff off of like Shutterfly.
Yes.
And they will make, canvases or blankets or take your photo and put it on whatever you want.
Okay, I'm looking up Shutterfly.
Yeah, Shutterfly is a good one. There's other ones out there too that'll do that kind of stuff. And I mean, you can slap it on just about anything.
Shutterfly is just what I use usually when I'm doing prints of photos or something like that. Because I have a picture I took of some water lilies that I'm looking to get like made into a painting for my bedroom.
Oh, cool. That'll be nice.
Kat also mentioned Society 6.
Yes.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, I gotta.
Wait, Bexy cut out a little bit. Did she cut out for you?
I'm here.
Oh, I
I think she just cut herself off.
I think she did because I thought she was going to say something else.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that sounds
I'm
awesome.
blaming my Hashimoto brain.
Hey, it's okay. Everybody's got their own things, man. It happens. I don't have anything like that.
All right, Justin has something here. Can you see it, Bexy? Or
Let me.
Let me
Yeah.
get out of
If I may,
Instagram.
DeVerne, no time is really wasted time. Every second we live, it builds who we are and how we move towards what we will ultimately become.
So I guess basically, I realize this podcast has been a lot different from most people's, but the major thing I guess that comes from the mental health is just that I have this idea that as we've figured out, that I've wasted my time or that I've misused my talents. And so that negative energy goes through my head all the time, and then I don't actually attempt to push forward. So that's the main thing.
But now you have people now wanting to push you forward.
But now I do, and that's wonderful. So I'm a happy man.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I would have seen your Instagram sooner. Seriously, I wish I would have seen it sooner. I'm actually getting ready to go on my phone. That way I can be on my account and follow you. I don't go on Instagram often, but I will make a point to go and see what you're up to.
Go ahead.
He is, a while back, my Instagram got messed up and I deleted it, and his photographs are actually the reason I went back on Instagram. So
really, wow. Thank you, Bex. That's
yeah. Seriously, you were talking about it so much, and you're the reason I rejoined.
Well, I'm happy to bring you back. That's pretty cool. Like, dang, I've had an effect on someone's life. I'm okay. I haven't wasted my life. I found this podcast, and I made someone rejoin Instagram, so I'm okay. I'm cool.
There you go.
I have thought of, because I think about that all the time, and I think about the tiny snippets. Because I like perfection to a certain degree, and I don't think anybody can achieve that. But because life is really messy, and that's what I've figured out recently. But then I think about snippets of time and how I've affected people, and how some people probably will never forget me, even if we've moved on or whatever. And then I realize, okay, I've had an effect. I haven't completely wasted time. I've been out there, just not.
You know what?
What?
I see someone that's following you that it says followed by, and it was actually a guest on our podcast.
What? Who?
You remember Jamie?
Oh, I forgot. Wait, when did she follow me?
Yeah, she's following you. I just saw it. Dark Sakura.
When did she? I wonder when, because I haven't seen that notification. It must have been for a while.
That's awesome.
I see Big E. Okay. I'll request that. I follow a lot of strange things because as an artist, I'm expected to be a little strange, as Bob Ross would say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like my wife puts it, because she's not an artist. And she looks at the way that I process information, the way I look at the world, and she looks at how my older kids do that, and she's like, I don't understand you guys, how you see these things, how you connect these things. And she's like, it just blows my mind because you guys really do see the world differently and you process the world differently. But then she does these things that blow my mind because I'm like, I never would have thought of that, just because she's has a different mindset. She's a much more analytical person than I am.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's like my dad. He's very analytical. He's like, I'm sitting here with that, like, feeling like I got to do this and I got to do that. And Dad's like, you've got to stop. You got to think about it. And here's what we need to think about.
Right. And Kat just made a really good point. Not everyone becomes, with air quotes, by the time they are 30. Some don't make it, more quotes, until they are far more mature, a.k.a. older. Well, I didn't find that podcasting was probably my niche until I was in my 40s.
Dang.
So, I didn't get published as a poet until I was 40.
That's wild. 40's the new. What age would be the new 40s?
40's the new 20.
But I want to live my 20s and my 30s. I just need COVID-19 to go away. Go away, COVID-19. I need my 30s. Okay. I feel like it's just going to be around forever. I feel it. Like we're stuck.
Well, the good thing is that with the mutations that are happening, it is increasing in virality, which is bad, but it's dropping in lethality, which is good. And that's what a lot of pandemics do, is they become less dangerous, but more contagious. Because it's bad for the virus if it kills off the host.
Right.
So the ones that survive are the ones that aren't killing the host.
My dad always makes that point about Ebola. Like, Ebola's not a good virus. Like,
Ebola's terrifying.
For its own self, like for its own benefit of being a virus, it's a bad virus because it kills people right away. Like, that's your host. You just killed your host. You're done.
Yeah.
Where you gotta go, virus?
I have to say, I'm loving Justin right now.
Yeah, Justin is putting out some great stuff.
Ooh,
if I may again, your life is much like the evolution of trains. The world didn't always have the bullet trains of Osaka. First it was steam, and then coal, and while I am no expert in trains, but I am sure they had several evolutions before where we are now.
Yes.
The next evolution, my man.
I like this dude. If you're on Instagram, please follow me. You can DM me anytime. Let's see here. What's my response to that? It's a very autistic response, so to speak. It's like
he was on point.
Basically, the locomotives right now. No, my response is going to be very autistic. It's like the locomotives that we have today, the GEVOs, the ES44ACs, ES44DCs, ES44C4s, and ET44C4s. They all basically look the same, but they're basically the new SD40-2 series, which that's the locomotive that ruled the rails up until like 2006. And they were built between like 1972 and 1985. And now the GEVOs, they got started in 2005 and they've evolved a lot, and that's where we are now. And you think how far trains have come from back when it was just steam locomotives, and even before they got fully steamed up where they could use coal and steam, or now coal and oil, it was just where you had to put wood, like you had to chop wood and put that in there and run them. So it's made lots of advances, and I love that man's comment because that's a very good comment. He knows how to talk to a train fan for sure.
Yeah, the bullet trains are amazing. I mean,
I've never. See,
I want to go on one.
No, see, people are going to get mad at me probably because that's the train that every non-rail fan identifies with. I've never liked those. Like, they're just like, they're too sleek. Like, they're not. Like, the thing I like about North American trains is that they look like
they're meant to dominate.
They're utilitarian and they can look magical at the same time. They can be both things. Even the steam locomotives here are tougher looking, but still majestic compared to those from other countries. That's not to say that other countries have bad trains. It's just, you get what I'm going. You get where I'm going.
I do.
Of course you do. You're Eve. You know everything.
No, I don't.
You're the podcast master. You know everything.
No, I'm still figuring this out as I go.
You can read my thoughts, damn it. You can read my thoughts and you won't admit it now.
No.
Actually, you don't want to read my thoughts, so don't. But go on. You had something, I'm sure. Let's go on.
No, just talking. You were talking about the different trains. It's like the first train that we really I think it's just one that I absolutely loved. Was the Southern Pacific 4449.
Ah, yes, the GS4.
The American Freedom Train. I watched that train go through my hometown twice a year for years, and it was such a big thing. You know, it was like you could hear that woo from so far away. Like I would drop everything and run to the tracks.
Now, see, you got a little rail fan in you. You know, I feel it. I feel you. Yeah. That's what you do when you really have that spark, and you know something really odd is coming down the tracks. You say, "Oh crap, I need to get there," and you get there, and magic happens. If you're lucky.
I will say one of the more interesting experiences I had with trains. This is definitely adult here.
I want to know.
Having sex next to the train tracks and having my orgasm as the engine goes by.
How come you get to? I almost name dropped you, by the way. How come you get to live my dreams, man? That is amazing. What the actual bleep? I would love to be going bleep on a girl by the tracks. Like that'd be amazing, man.
Just the vibration of that engine going by, how it just moves the whole earth and your body too. It was incredible.
There was unintended jiggling on the play.
And Justin was saying he's following you, and he's a big car guy. So while they're very different, they're still very similar in their evolutions.
I want to take pictures of cars. I actually took a great picture of this car really up close the same day as those last 1, 2, 3, 4 pictures behind the mask one. And I don't know if I should post it or not because I had my zoom lens on and you could see into the car. The guy had glasses on, you could tell, but on his right eye was this huge eye patch. And I'm like, I'm glad I took this photo. I can see this man with this pirate coming down the road. It was so cool.
Right now, my favorite car, I mean, I've got to say, I absolutely love Shelby supercars. They've only produced 2 cars,
Whoa.
And they are both just wicked cool. Right now, the SSC Tuatara is the current world record holder for fastest production car. It hit 331 miles an hour, that's all. But I absolutely, as beautiful as that car is, I absolutely love the Ultimate Arrow. It's got that older, like Lamborghini look to it, but much more modern and its own twist. Gorgeous car.
You see, I'm basic. I like Mustangs and Chargers.
My dad is a big Mustang fan. I love Chargers, but I love like the supercars. That and also like my dream car to own, as far as a reasonable dream that I should be able to attain. I hope. Is the Nismo modified GTR Godzilla.
I need to look that up.
Even if it's not the Godzilla, just having a GTR would just be amazing. The GTR is like a sleeper car. If you don't know what the car is and what it does, you would never really think too much of it. But for a while there, this was the fastest production car to run the Nürburgring.
That is a nice looking car. Wow.
Yeah,
I just posted a car picture I took on my Instagram, so.
Cool. I'll have to go look for it. But
yes.
That is a nice car. Justin just popped off with, he said, sorry, E, but give me the 79 Trans Am. Near flawless design met with an almost perfect drivetrain.
What's that one car that everybody says is a lifestyle? I know what it is, but I can't think of it. Like, that's not a car, that's a lifestyle.
The Volkswagen
like, my chat has gone stupid again, and I'm not getting comments.
No, I don't think it's... Yeah, we'll still be here.
I mean, don't drop out of the meeting.
No, I'm not dropping out of the thing. I'm gonna close the.
You're not allowed to drop out of school, Bexy.
I haven't been in school for many, many years.
What? I'm kidding. It doesn't bother me. Just being
there
stupid.
There we go.
That's what I like
okay,
to do.
now I'm getting.
And then Justice talking about the Corvette. The Corvette is one of those, I actually have a love-hate relationship with Corvettes. It really depends on the Corvette. Like, I love the newest version of the Stingray. Like, but
I mean, with a name like that, it's got to be a good car.
you would think.
Like, I mean, it's just that Corvette, they're not well made. Let's just put it that way. They do fall apart. It's like if you want like a really good performance sports car, it's a good entry level car to get into that market, and it is a very competitive car. But again, you're talking of it's like a bargain bin version, and I really don't want to smack on Chevy too much because I mean the Corvette, it does have a big following. It has its own lifestyle, and all the different models it's gone through from like C1, C2, C3, etc.
I buy a Corvette.
It is a good looking car.
They look so good.
They do. They always have looked good.
Yeah.
It's just that their reliability is not necessarily stellar.
And if you're going to spend the money on a big old car, you got to spend it the right way. A good car that will last you.
Jess was saying, I was touching on it's the car. Or it's not a car, it's a lifestyle. Well, the Volkswagen Beetles also, it's not a car, it's a cult. That's what they say anyway, and I've seen it.
I think it was a quote from a movie. I'm going to look it up.
The Ford Pinto? Now, the one thing is that the Corvette is a lot more accessible than anything Ford has in the same category. Because in Ford, you have the Mustang versus the Camaro. They're the same class. Then you have the Corvette, but then Ford has the GT. But the GT runs Le Mans, which Chevy's not going to put a Corvette on the Le Mans. It'll get just destroyed.
Right. You don't want to...
But the GT is a supercar. So, again...
I'm telling you, Kat is a big fan. She is, all my photos, man.
She's gone silent in chat. I think that she's just gone down the rabbit hole.
I fully support this. I'm enjoying having all my pictures liked in succession. It makes me happy.
So, are you feeling at this point that you've wasted your life, considering the events that have happened just tonight?
I mean, I think I should reclassify it. I spent 27-ish years just seeing what could be and not really taking part in it, but soaking it in, and now I'm ready to live it. I think I took that feeling of what you are as a kid, where you just sort of, you're soaking in everything, and I kind of took it a little too far. Took it a little longer than I maybe should have, but maybe it wasn't a waste because I think it will actually be everything that my art is.
Here's my question. You said that maybe you should have done it like as you should have or should have been, should.
Yeah.
Compared to what? Compared to who?
Well, I mean, think of
maybe this is exactly what you needed.
Maybe. But think of every musician that you've ever heard of, any of the classic rock ones for sure, even Upsell, and she's new, or Billie Eilish. What age are they when they start? They're 16. They're young, and they're they build up these crazy careers. Like Billie Eilish is fucking, she's amazing.
She is unbelievably talented, and her brother, who does all the music writing, unreal.
It's they're almost every artist is this prodigy. And then you have people like, what's his name? Born to Run. What's the guy that wrote that? Born to Run.
Kat just admitted that she really went down the rabbit hole with your photos.
Bruce Springsteen. My dad always brings him up.
Oh yeah.
She says my dad will say that he kind of he started in his 40s and got famous, but that doesn't mean a lot to me because personally, I don't know that I love Bruce Springsteen that much. Born to Run is really good, but other than that, it's okay. Bruce Springsteen, that's a guy that exists. But Tom Petty was my man.
Tom Petty was amazing.
I wish I had his life. Think of it like this, man. He makes this tape. He records this tape with these people, and he's like, I believe in this. And they drive across the country. They have that story. They go to L.A. They go around to different people trying to get it, and they finally get it. I mean, he's the guy. He's the Eddie Rebel that he wrote about in that song. Probably, I don't know if he had a tattoo, but he's that guy. Right. And I've always wished I was Eddie Rebel.
But for every one person that has pulled that off, 1,000 other people followed in the same footsteps and never made it.
Right.
So and you really can't compare yourself to these prodigies or these people that had the right hustle, because a lot of it too is just being at the right place at the right time.
Right.
Like just a good example, I was listening to an interview from I can't remember his name, the lead singer, main songwriter for Styx, and he was saying that
Dennis
they were.
DeYoung?
What was that?
Dennis DeYoung.
Yes, and he was talking about how they started out as a cover band, but the rest of the band members kept going, dude, we need to play your music. Your music's really good. So they finally decided, okay, we're going to go ahead and play one of my songs, and they played it at this. It was like a party, one of those backyard things.
Yeah.
And after they were done with the song, the crowd was dead silent.
Oh.
And he was like, they hate me. So he went on and started doing they finished off their set doing the cover band stuff. Well, a couple days later, about a week later, I'd say, he decided to go ahead and try to take the demo to the local radio station. Now, in the town that they were in, they had one broadcasting antenna, and there was a multi-floor building where the crummier, lesser-known, lesser popular radio stations were at the bottom. The top is where the Kingpin radio station was, because they got their name on the top of the building.
Right.
And he went in, and he went to submit his song, and the person behind the desk at the lower radio station says, I have been asked to keep you here for a minute. Can you please wait? Gets on the phone and says, yeah, that song, yeah, the guy, yeah, he's here. Down comes the head, the program director for the largest radio station in the city at the top of the building saying, your song right now is the #1 most requested song in the area and nobody has it. We want it.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, again, one of those right place at the right time. Had he never walked into that radio station, we never would have heard of the Styx.
That's crazy because I love they have so much good music. Grand Illusion is so great because that song speaks so well to what this podcast is about. Deep inside, we're all the same.
We are.
All the same.
And Justin came back when I was talking about, I think this is about me referring to who you're comparing yourself to. Because you should only ever compare yourself to yourself. You say, booyah, I couldn't have said it better, DeVerne. Just keep that in the back of your mind when you start feeling yourself slipping into self-doubt.
I'll do my best, man.
Kat, of course. I love buildings. You take great building pictures, too.
Dude, thank you. I love buildings, too.
Yeah,
I love buildings, man. They have soul if you look at them the right way.
If you have never been to New York, go to Old Amsterdam, and you will be in heaven. The architecture there is amazing.
I would love to do that.
And then Lennon, I'm almost 37 and have no clue what I'm doing with my life. It's okay to be at a different place than other people. I mean, think about it. 40 is known as the year of the midlife crisis. It's where people finally stop doing what they were told that they should do, and they have this crisis, and then they do what they want to do.
See, I think that's what's attempting to happen with me right now at 27. I'm like, what? But
Kat,
that's okay, because it happened to me at 37.
And Kat had the best comment. I'm just 65.
I'm just 65. Don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
Well, at least it happens to all of us for eternity. We're just gonna be this way for our whole lives, being like, I'm not where I want to be, but as long as I'm happy, then okay.
Hey, growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional.
I like that. That's
I will
true.
forever be a kid at heart.
I think that's me too. I don't think I could be anything else.
I have the heart of a kid and the arrest warrant to prove it.
Oh, you're a fun one. I wish I was that fun.
No.
Dude.
Was it because you slept with someone by the train tracks?
Man, I will never forget that night.
Who would? Who could possibly forget that night?
Oh, okay, so here you go.
Oh, come on.
I don't know if... I know this place exists, and the only one place I've ever found it. In Dunsmuir, California. This is way northern California. Itty bitty town. Maybe 2,000 people. Maybe. There's the railroad... It's the Railroad Inn, I think is what they called it. I can't remember exactly, but you sleep in cabooses. You rent out a caboose for the night, and that's your room, and you eat in a diner car.
They have a locomotive like that in Isaac Walton Inn up in Essex, Montana. A caboose.
I actually did wasn't my honeymoon. It was the day after I got married on my first marriage. That night we were in a caboose.
That's so cool.
It was really damn cool.
So you did it by train tracks in a caboose? I mean,
Just got to do the locomotive. Got to do it in the dining car.
Gotta do the locomotion, right? I don't even like that song, but it was a perfect reference.
Yeah, and now that song's stuck in my head. Thanks.
You're so welcome. I'm happy to help you. This is what I'm here for. You want songs stuck in your head? Call me up.
Oh, I'm good at doing that to people, too.
Yes, you are.
Well, what else do you have for me?
I love
That's
your
some
musical
stuff.
taste, but sometimes I hate you when you do that to me.
Oh, hey, what'd you think of the song I sent to you? I think it was last night for the song of the day.
Wait, did you?
I actually liked a lot.
It was actually a Vietnamese pop song.
Yeah. I'm not.
Wait, is that K-pop?
No, it's V-pop.
You are the one that expands my musical taste, because that's not something I would seek out on my own to listen to. But anytime he sends me a song, I know it's going to be good, so I listen.
I tried like Korean pop, and BTS is okay, but no, I can't.
I like for Korean pop. I've as cheesy as it sounds, Psy is my guy. I love how funny he is. That's what I love about. And his music is really good. And I've also started to fall in love with Blackpink, believe it or not.
I've never heard of it.
Doo 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 is a great song. It's DU-DUU. 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 But definitely you want to have good speakers with good bass response or subwoofer, headphones, whatever. The bass makes that song.
Okay, here's an interruption. Kat's Instagram has a picture of pizza from Domino's, and now I'm hungry.
I just ate 2 orders of Parmesan garlic chicken wings, and I am happy.
That's a good drug right there.
Food is the best drug.
Flavored bread, man. What a drug that is.
Gosh.
Oh, dang. I just saw your card. Oh, shoot. We forgot about that. Yeah, we're sorry. We won't do it again. We promise.
It's okay.
You know, it's like I get off of work, I run into the house, I cram my face, and I run back out here for the podcast. Because I'm off at 5, and then for the listeners, they don't know this, which is a lot of them. We get together 40 minutes before the podcast starts. No, 20 minutes. Sorry, 20 minutes. Ugh.
Yeah.
My brain's fried. 20 minutes before the podcast starts. That way, if we have any last-minute technical issues or whatever, we can get them resolved. And also help to calm everybody down and get everyone on the same page and ready to go. So, I get off of work at 5. I'm back in my office by 5:40. That's basically go home, get in the house, go to the bathroom, cram my face, run back out here, do the podcast.
I always find myself in a rush on Thursdays, trying to get, like dinner together and things done, and then before I realize it, it's 7:30 my time, and I'm going, holy crap.
It was easy for me. I just sat by my computer all day like, oh yeah, I'm going to have a podcast in a few hours.
Yeah, our first couple of seasons, we started an hour later, and it was like no big deal. I was like, okay, I got an hour and 40 minutes that I could go ahead and take care of stuff. But it made it really inconvenient for the people on the East Coast because the podcast was starting at 10 o'clock at night their time. So
Dang,
no,
That's
9
crazy.
o'clock, 6. Yeah, because we started at 7. So 10 o'clock at night, man, by the time we got done with an episode, we had people just falling off.
Right. Because it's like, it's like, I got to go to sleep. I can't, I'm sorry, but I have to sleep. I'm sorry.
Well, I will say this. We do have a guest coming up. I'm not sure if they're this season or next season, but they're in Ireland. They're going to come on the podcast at 2 a.m. their time.
Dang, that's dedication.
That's some dedication.
That is some dedication. And there's another person in Ireland who's also agreed, but we had already fully booked, and that they're on the holding pattern. They're on a wait list. I made a wait list, so that way when we get closer, we can bring them on. They're willing to do it 2 a.m. And then we also have someone over in Dubai who there's a 12-hour difference. So, we start on the West Coast at 6 p.m. He's up and ready to go at 6 a.m. for the podcast.
Wow.
That is, I understand that. That's dedication.
Now, the people that are making that kind of dedication just shows that
it's worth it.
It's worth it.
So
Yeah,
worth it.
definitely. Kat says, I've been munching on potato chips because there wasn't time to make dinner. And then, wow, that's cool, E.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. It's like we've had international listeners. Now we're getting international guests. Was the next big jump. There is a person in Brazil that's interested. Yeah, we got a lot of interest internationally. It's pretty awesome.
I have someone that I know in Sweden who I really, really, really want to have talk to you guys if I can convince her, because she has borderline personality, and she's told me some stuff. I think she would be great for this.
Probably.
Oh.
Although that for her, it'd be probably closer to like 3-4 in the morning for her start.
Yes, probably would be. You want to know something? Like I've thought about this analogy all the time about how I feel about my life, and here's what it is. You know, like you go to your Nana's house or somebody's house and you play cards, right?
Right.
Well, I never got into it because just a couple of times I would play it and I wouldn't know how to play. I'd have like however many cards and I wouldn't think I had any moves. You know, I wouldn't think there was any moves there. And my dad would come over and he'd point out like 10 different moves I had. And that's basically my life. I've got moves lying around everywhere. But I just don't see them, so I don't make them.
I can relate to that.
That is my life. 100% my life right there.
I mean, if it wasn't for Bexy, I probably would never even start this podcast. I would have shared the thing, been like, okay, that was cool. You know, my essay that I wrote, and then that would have been the end of it. But it just happened, again, right people at the right time. Happened to meet someone who wanted to start a podcast with me. Wanted me to help game test, and we had a major falling out. I mean, major. They misunderstood what I was saying before they started their podcast. They thought that all I wanted to do was the audio stuff. I was like, no, I want to do the audio editing, but I definitely want to be a part of the podcast too. But they went ahead and got a different co-host, which caused, and I was like trying to explain this is a total misunderstanding. I mean, I get it. You got someone else for the podcast, and that's fine. And there was a lot of misunderstanding, and the friendship's over, which is really sad.
That's rough, man.
Yeah, but because of it, it made me start thinking about, I really do want to do a podcast. And my first podcast idea, it has some merit. I think it could happen, but it was this one that really resonated with people. And Bexy was constantly on me. Hey, so when you start your podcast? Hey, when you start your podcast? Hey, when's that podcast coming out?
And you're like, how do I make it stop?
I was a bit relentless, but I knew. I mean, the moment you started talking about it, I knew this was a good thing. This is supposed to happen. And
well, yeah.
I was gonna be right there being, the cheerleader the whole entire time.
Well, okay,
I never dreamed one day he'd actually ask me, hey, you want to co-host with me? Duh.
Well, the reason I asked KZ the first time is I have a lot longer history with KZ, and he keeps me a little more even keel. You feed into my sense of humor, which causes some distractions.
You know what you gotta do, Rebecca. I mean Bexy. Something. her, you know what her actual name is? It's Becky. That's her name.
My actual name is Rebecca Lynn.
Rebecca Lynn?
I have. Oh, please don't ever keep that again.
I didn't name drop anybody. Y'all didn't hear a thing. That's complete fake news. I didn't name drop anybody. Her name's Bexy, and
her name is Backseat Becky.
That's Backseat.
Backseat Bex. That was my name. Yeah.
Anyway, but you know what you
that
gotta
drove
do.
me crazy for the longest time, and then I just said, "Screw it, I'm gonna embrace it. I'll be Backseat Bex. I don't care."
Well,
yeah, you were that for a long time.
I was that for a long time, but then, I when I think I changed my Twitter handle when I had a lot of people coming down on me about, I would post like weight loss photos, and I would get the ugliest, nastiest comments from people.
People are gross.
Yeah.
And I would just be like devastated by it for a little bit. And then I thought, you know what? I'm better than all this. And someone who shall remain nameless made me a beautiful picture of me that says, "I will rise above bigotry and hatred and negativity and self-doubt because I'm worth it."
I know who that is. It wasn't me. I can't draw.
It's it's amazing how art can help
After I
people.
saw that, I thought, my Twitter handle needs an upgrade, so now it's Bexy Will Rise.
Yeah, and I have to say that her embracing Backseat Bex was the beginning of her finding her happy.
You have to embrace what you are. As soon as you're not afraid to embrace you, then that's when the magic happens. And that's probably my biggest problem is I haven't
I was
reached...
going to say, so DeVerne, when are you going to embrace yourself? Because
Exactly.
you're awesome, dude. You're awesome.
Come on.
Because I have to find my inner Bexy. It's basically what it is. I have to become that. I have to be able to say, okay, now.
No, you need to become. You don't need to become.
No, I don't mean.
You don't need to find your own inner Bex. You need to find your inner DeVerne.
I didn't mean it literally. I just meant
I
I need to find the ability to become what I'm supposed
And
to
trust
be.
me, it's scary living up in my head. Become your own person. Don't be me.
Oh, hey, it's dirty up in my head. Y'all don't want to be up in here. It gets pretty nasty.
Dude, your head. I know your dirty jokes. That's why I'm able to write on them and make them dirtier.
Trust me, you don't. I like that one, but trust me, you don't know the half of it, brah.
Oh, man, if it wasn't for my filter.
You don't know the half of it,
No,
brah.
you should talk to Brandy. She knows what I'm like when I'm unfiltered. She's seen me go unfiltered, and
Dude,
I've seen you unfiltered. I know.
oh yeah,
we know,
yeah,
man.
I'd go unfiltered when someone would hurt my Bexy on Twitter, and I would just come unglued.
Oh my God, yes.
And I was always really good at the way that I did it. The way I defended people on Twitter is I drew these people's ire at me, and then they would be focused on me and no longer focused on who I was defending.
I like that.
And that way they weren't being attacked anymore, and they always thought that they were a step ahead of me. And
They never were.
I don't think a single one of them was. Now, I'm not saying that I'm like super brilliant or anything. I've been beat to tar on social media plenty of times. But these people, these people belonged in the kiddie pool.
Now, see, that's why I got to ask you a question again, because I'll do this all the time, like on Twitter. I had Twitter from 2018 to 2019, a couple different times in 2019, a couple of times last year, and I got rid of them because something will always happen where it's like, okay, I don't want to. Something will always scare me off, or a fight like that, or some troll, and so that's my biggest issue is that I don't rise. I need to rise in my own way because I'll just let that push me away.
Oh, Bexy? She doesn't even engage anymore.
I do not engage with these people. I do not feed the troll at all.
And see, that's my problem. I can't not feed it.
If I comment, it is upbeat and happy, and or maybe the last time I commented on somebody's somebody said something about me posting too many pictures of myself and I needed to go eat a salad because I needed to lose more weight. And I was like, I'm so glad that you are absolutely perfect and willing to sit back and judge me for something that you have never been through. Kudos to you.
It's like there's so many people that post
awesome.
pictures of themselves. It's like, that's what social media is for. You're posting your life. You're posting yourself. Like, how is that?
It's like,
I'm not ashamed of myself anymore.
You shouldn't be.
And when she posts those weight loss pictures, and people say that nasty stuff, it's like when you see someone that's out of shape and overweight at the gym and they're busting their asses, you shouldn't make fun of them.
No,
they are there putting in the work to get to where you are.
And also,
just keep your damn mouth shut.
And also,
yes,
if you can't be, constructive or helpful or anything, now I post pictures and I'll have people ask me, hey, what have you done? You look really great. And then I get the odd troll who was like, you really shouldn't even exist.
But my way of attacking them is like, what's broken inside of you that you have to attack other people who are happy with themselves?
But also, weight doesn't define beauty. I mean, big girls, tiny girls in the middle of the road, it doesn't matter. Like, you all look good. Every woman has her own unique beauty to her.
Every person does. That's the thing. I
don't know why people don't understand that, but they won't.
I don't know. There's some pretty miserable people out there. I have a hard time seeing any beauty in them. Maybe I'm not supposed to see it. Maybe that their beauty is shown to someone else.
I always want to have hope for people, but I do have to agree with you. There are some miserable people out there who cannot do anything but drag others down because they're so miserable themselves.
I don't have hope for anybody.
They don't know how to deal with it. And Justin says, just channel your inner Freud. How was your relationship with your mother? Oh, I'm not going there.
Yeah, we're not going there.
Let's not, because I'm pretty sure all three of us have had interesting relationships with our mothers. It's like because you want to say that because like the part of you that knows how much work your mom goes to do everything plus giving birth to you knows like my mom's great. It's just that she doesn't know how to deal with me when she doesn't understand me.
Right.
That's all it is. That's literally all it is, and that blows up to making it seem like I hate her or I'll say things like that, and then that just obviously feeds into a bad loop that's hard to get out of. And I think that's probably what all three of us have experienced. I know I've heard a lot of Bexy's story about her mother and how they overcame their deal.
I am so glad they did, because like up until that time, all I ever heard was that Bexy's relationship with her mom was tumultuous. Or tumultuous would be a good way of putting it, and that's light. It was bad.
Freaking horrible.
It was horrible. Like, no one could bring Bexy down like her mother could. And then even when she started living with Bexy and started showing a new leaf, I know that Bexy and I both had that whole, okay, we're not going to swat this olive branch away, but we're looking for the barbs hitting in it, or the poison needle in it. And it turned out it was legitimate. It just took a while to earn the trust to realize this is legit.
But haven't you noticed this? Like, it's always the people that we're closest to that we feel the most comfortable to really attack. You notice that?
You
always
hurt the ones you love.
Because when you feel that close to someone, you trust that, okay, I'm not going to get physically harmed. You know that they don't have a gun, or you know if they do. And so you know where to push them, and that's just what you do.
And it's not right.
It's not right at all. It's completely wrong, but it's what we do. I think every last one of us is a victim and someone that has done it also. I think we've all done it and been a victim to it.
Yeah, no, I disagree.
I don't know how we break that cycle as humanity, but it's definitely something I've noticed. And that's when you have any mental health issue like all of us in this chat and all of us on this podcast have, then that's precisely the thing. It just feeds this issue of self-doubt and of being overwhelmed and of thinking you can't do things. It just feeds that constantly.
Yeah. Justin said, yikes, I didn't mean to bring that conversation into fruition. Just more of a taunt to the internet trolls, LOL.
I thought it was a good conversation, though. It was really serious. It was fun. It was a good one.
It is a good conversation, and...
Because, like, we don't hate our mothers.
Oh, my God, E.
Bexy just read my comment. I knew she was
going to... Yeah, here's E. Freud on pot. Ever noticed that fingers are little hand penises?
Oh, yes, I have, E. Have you noticed that fire hydrants are also penises, since people get their stuff chopped off without their consent when they're babies? Circumcision?
Yeah, also, they hose down your house.
Oh Lord.
I guess I need to work on their aim, huh?
And once again, we're devolving into bodily function humor.
Yes, we are.
Actually, you knew this was coming.
Hey, for once, we could actually say, we could credit to someone other than us. It was in the chat. They brought up Freud.
Right. And it's not my fault this time.
Justin, tonight on Jeopardy, phallic nature.
Let's discuss the effect of penises on mental health. Oh, if jammed up the wrong entry point, they may be just a little rough.
Yes!
Oh, God, here we go again.
Oh, God, the comments have to be going crazy.
Yes, skin babies popped up.
I'm waiting on the new mask. Skin baby filtration.
I know. I started working on it, but then when I went to publish it, it changed the fonts and it looked like poo, so I have to start over.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
I don't
We were
know.
actually talking when you were doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know what limits we have exactly on this podcast, but since it's art, I think I can say this. I've had this painting idea recently. Like, instead of a fire hydrant, it's a realistic painting, and instead of a fire hydrant, it's what you think it would be. What we were just talking about. I want to make this painting happen. It will be on Instagram, and when it happens, and I think it'll be great. That's an idea I've had for a while.
No one wants a poo mask.
Well, that depends. I mean, what if they're freaky?
Did you ever see the episode of Everybody Loves Raymond with called Marie's Sculpture?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't think I've seen it.
And
Oh my god, I just realized who Justin was. He says, great, my ex-husband isn't even here, and I managed to get that conversation brought up. Oh my god, hi Justin.
Oh my god, I don't know who this dude is, but he seems
Justin is
Oh.
awesome.
he seems
Justin
exactly.
is amazing.
I like, dude, you seem cool as heck, man. Y'all always got the right thing.
I
to
feel
say.
like I've been just really, really ignorant about who he was tonight, and I was like, it just hit me. It literally just hit me, and I'm like, oh
yeah.
my god, I know who that is.
Yeah, we've Justin and I chatted for a little while, and was like, yeah, come on, come on, check out the show, come on to hang out with us. I'm glad that he's here.
Definitely.
You know what the biggest thing is my mental
But
health-
honestly, if you just do a Google search, just Raymond Marie's Sculpture, the entire episode was focused around the fact that it looked like something specific anatomically.
Oh, I get what you're going with that. I was sitting on the school bus one day, and this kid asked me, "Are you all right?" I was just looking out the window. Like, that's all I do. Like, that's my persona. I look out the window and I stare at things. This one kid was like, "Are you okay? Is something wrong?" That happens to me all the time. You realize that? Like, that's the whole thing of being observant. People think something's wrong. If you're quiet and you're just staring off at things, people think something's wrong. And would you believe Eeyore actually wasn't sad? There's an episode of Winnie the Pooh. It's one of the only ones I can go back to that doesn't traumatize me. That's a whole other podcast. But it's that one where he's sitting up at the top from the intro where they're all running up to him. He was sky painting. He wasn't sitting up there because he was sad. He was sitting up there because he was just observing something magical that was in his head. And that's what I do. That's exactly what I do. Mom calls me Eeyore all the time, and sometimes maybe she's right. But I think maybe that's not such a bad thing.
No. Eeyore's one of the most beloved characters, too.
Exactly. And she takes his name in vain, damn it, and I don't like it. It's not right. Eeyore's amazing. And that's my soapbox that possibly has something to do with mental health. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. This podcast is just me.
Man,
Do you have any podcast questions for me? What you got? I'm open.
Yeah, I'm waiting for some questions here.
Yeah.
I want to know what they want to know because
Cat just popped off. Thanks for noticing me. And then
Well, there is a theory about Winnie the Pooh and the characters representing different forms of mental health disorders. Like Eeyore is major depressive disorder, Pooh is an eating disorder, Rabbit is obsessive compulsive disorder, Owl is narcissistic personality disorder, Piglet is anxiety, Tigger is obviously attention deficit ADHD, and Christopher Robin is schizophrenia.
I'm Piglore. I'm Piglore. That's my name. I'm Piglore. I'm Piglore. I'm a mix of I'm a mix of Piglet and Eeyore. That's just how it is. I'm Piglore. That would be. I need to write that down.
One of my nicknames I had growing up with friends at school is that I was Tigger. Tigger.
That spells Tigger.
Yep.
I can see that even on your face now. You embody his vibe because I can see it on your face now that you said that. That explains a lot.
Although I think that I relate more to Hobbes from Calvin and Hobbes, but I could be either Tiger.
Yeah, I think
there's another theory about Winnie the Pooh characters being on drugs. This is Eeyore the donkey doesn't care about anything, has slow reactions and a lack of motivation.
Oh, it's pot.
Marijuana. Piglet is afraid of everything and is paranoid constantly being chased. He's on mushrooms. Rabbit gets into everyone's business and constantly needs everything. Cocaine.
Yep.
Tigger can't calm down, bounces all the time, and is never tired. Ecstasy.
Yeah.
I believe that so much.
Who loves sweets and has the wildest imagination? LSD.
Yeah.
Christopher Robin can talk to animals. Hallucinogens.
Oh, yeah.
An owl is always there to help anyone who needs it. He's the dealer.
Yep. Well, it's like the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. George Carlin went on that. You know, it's like it just kind of occurred to me one time, you know, the name Snow White. Oh, yeah. But so it's either Coke or crack, or Coke or speed. And it had to be Coke because it had to be something that makes you want to clean up after seven little assholes and want to wash the garage.
George Carlin is amazing.
Yep. And then each one of those characters were on their own things. You know, Sleepy was on downers. Happy was on everything. Oh, Dopey was on everything. Happy was on uppers. Sneezy, Coke freak. You know, just going on. And of course, Doc was the dealer. You know, just of course.
George Carlin, though, man, that man was he saw what was coming.
Yeah,
that man.
Yeah,
he
did.
Everything. We are owned by big corporations and by that kind of thing, and he knew it, and he told us that. People probably thought he was crazy, but he was right.
Justin just said, "Look up Rugrats theory." You want to talk about some mentally depressing ideas?
Oh my God! Yes.
I can't watch that show anymore because of that one. Well, then I will have to pass because Rugrats was after my time, but it was right at my oldest kid's time. So I watched a lot of Rugrats. I fell in love with Rugrats. And I mean, the Rugrat movie had some of the best jokes out of all of it.
My God, I loved it.
Does Justin watch Wisecrack on YouTube?
They're supposed to be asking you questions. You're like, hey, Justin, you watch Wisecrack?
No, because if he likes these theories, maybe he's watched some of that stuff, but they do great videos about theories about everything.
Okay, my heart is breaking. I just read part of the Rugrats theory thing. I can't.
Yeah, Justin said that he does not.
Well, do it, Justin. Do it. I don't know what you're waiting for. You gotta do it.
And then there's that one dude who overanalyzes things.
Me.
Like game theory, movie theory. The one that the guy
That's just a film theory.
Yeah, that's just a theory. A film theory.
I love that guy.
The one on Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. Whoa. Like, seriously? Holy crap. That was amazing.
Have you watched Channel Awesome? He just did a great video on how Shark Tale was such a shitty movie.
Oh.
But the one that really blew my mind was the one that he did on Deadpool.
Oh, God. I mean, there's just like that's what YouTube is all about. These weird ass theories.
Yep, Matt
Pat, yes. Oh my God. Do they have any questions for me? I'll answer anything about anything, even non-mental health stuff. I mean, this podcast is just a fun little mix of who I am. So let's do it.
Yeah, we got to get to know you a little bit better and got to validate your art. I mean, seriously.
Which validating that is about all we need for me, because if you validate that, then I know where to go.
And don't give up on other arts. I mean, like, look at Ozzy Osbourne. He's known for his singing. He's known for his songwriting. He's not really known for his, like, tangible art, like his paintings and drawings and ink and pen stuff. But if you ever watch the Osbournes, he does it constantly, and it's really good. You know, just because you are great at one type of art, keep doing other art, man.
Oh, yeah.
Always keep doing other art.
Always, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, I tell everybody, you know, artistic-wise, I'm a writer. I'm a poet. That's what I do. It's what I love to do. I mean, I just wrote. I write literally almost every day. Something. But I also love photography, so I do that too. And it just because you're an artist doesn't mean you have to settle for one specific niche.
Oh no,
you can do many different things.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be a painter and a photographer, and they're both going to feed into each other. Is what my plan is.
Nice. And Kat was saying this has been another great episode. Hoping that you're feeling a little better about not being quote unquote there yet.
Yes, I agree.
I think perhaps I am, which I
think.
think.
So seriously, your photography is there right now.
And she went caps locks on a few of those words.
Dang,
yes, she did.
I'm a happy man, and I'm just using auto right now. I need to. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, and like I said, start, get some editing software. I mean, there's some freebie stuff that you can just start playing. You could get like the GIMP. It's free. It's a direct competitor against Adobe Photoshop.
True.
Now, it's not Lightroom, which is also really good, but it's something, and it's free. It gives you a good, foot in the door. And as a matter of fact, as of now, Photoshop is trying to play keep up with the GIMP. So,
Oh, wow. I would never have guessed that.
yeah, well, the GIMP, it's open source, so people are able to just contribute to it, where Adobe is closed source, where they have to develop it on their own. So you have a team of developers at Adobe versus the world.
Okay, that makes sense now.
And then you start working on doing your manual settings, start shooting in RAW format, and your photography is just going to get better and better and better.
And see, I started taking all these pictures you see are not in RAW, and I just realized, oh wow, like Peter McKinnon is a big, amazing artist for photography, and he said always shoot in RAW, and I was like, oh god, I didn't shoot in RAW.
Another one, you could always, if your camera supports it, it takes up more space, so you don't get as many photos, but RAW plus JPEG, that way you still have a JPEG version of your photo, but you also have that RAW, and that RAW is going to contain all the details. And then Kat was just saying GIMP is great but complicated, and that's true. But Photoshop's complicated too.
Yeah, because I took a class in school on it, and 16 weeks is not enough to learn that, because I did not get much out of it, sadly. And she was a great teacher. She was amazing. Like, she was teaching us all the stuff, but that's just, it wasn't enough time. Like, I need like one-on-one kind of deal.
Hey, Bexy, you got this one if you can see Justin's comment.
Ooh, what's Justin
Oh
saying?
my goodness.
It's brilliant.
Says, honestly, DeVerne, you have explained your feelings and your struggles eloquently. If I may, again, this podcast, I think, brought out the best in you. You came in feeling unaccomplished, but came full circle to see more, that you have not wasted your time. I am happy you had the chance to see that.
Well, that makes me happy, because I was sitting there in my head like, am I talking enough about mental health?
And you have a fabulous voice, too.
Ooh.
You could do voiceover.
You totally could.
I don't know what to say to that, because that was nice. That makes me happy, and I can't. Yep, that's all.
And also, Kat did totally what Justin said. And then, but she went said, auto cucumbers. That Justin's, now my terrible typing skills are rubbing off on others. And all I can think of Justin doing that is in Mr. Burns' voice. Excellent.
Everybody in the chat, everybody talking to me physically with their words, you all are amazing people. I'm glad to be a part of this place.
I'm glad that we got you
See,
on.
include yourself in that list of amazing people, because you truly are.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You came in as, from my perspective, came in a totally random stranger into the chat. Betsy, of course, knew you. You've been a great presence in the chat. Love having you in there. We started chatting, me and Betsy together, get you on the show. It's been great. It has been great. And I'm glad that other people see in you what Betsy and I see in you.
Well, one thing
Definitely.
one thing I think I notice about myself is I tend to write a lot better than I speak. Like, this whole podcast would have been a lot different if we were typing things out. I think it would have gone a whole different direction, honestly. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's autism or if it's just me, but it's something that I noticed.
I think part of that is just you and your brain, because you speak very well. Actually, we've got quite a few. Kat just said you were very eloquent as well. Justin is joking and says, my master plan, it comes to fruition.
It comes to fruition. Excellent.
All right.
Yes.
All right. That's it,
Everybody
Justin.
has bad typing.
I'm feeling a very Pinky in the Brain vibe tonight. What are we going to do tonight, Brain?
The Animaniacs reboot. The Animaniacs reboot that's on Hulu was absolutely fantastic. Watch it. If you can watch it, please do. I know you think it's for kids, but it goes for adults.
Oh, the heck
too.
with Animaniacs being for kids. That was one of my favorite cartoons and still is to this day.
Well, watch the reboot, please, because it's amazing. You'll love it.
I freaking love the Animaniacs.
Well, watch that reboot because
Take over the world. Yes. See, he is my people.
Take over the world.
I mean,
I did
Pinky
the best I
says,
could with Brain there. I'm not very good at Brain.
But like Pinky says at one point, but if my legs fit like an ostrich, which restroom would I use? That's a literal question that he asks in the reboot, and I'm like, what?
Okay,
where's this coming from?
Like, I never really got into Animaniacs because when it was on TV, I was out doing athletic stuff, running around with my friends, I couldn't be contained in the house. And it wasn't too long ago that my wife was playing an episode, and it had Pinky and the Brain going on, and I was just watching my kids playing out in the patio, and all of a sudden I hear Pinky go, "We're here for relations," and then hear Brain going, "Diplomatic relations." And I mean, I like almost did a spit take. I'm like, did he just really say that we're here for relations?
Yes.
I was like, oh my God.
They are so slick. It's not even funny. It's so perfect.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I have no idea what I missed, but I need to get in on this now.
You do.
Well,
Every show.
It's like the movie Cars. I was never I wasn't interested in it at all. And it was just one joke. I happened to be walking by, and Lightning McQueen comes out. And he's like, the duck has 3 piston cups. And Mater's all, who did what in a cup? And I did a spit take right there. I'm like, I am so watching this movie now.
I want to reference something so bad, but I'm totally going to not reference it. Oh, my God.
One of my favorite things about Pinky and the Brain is when Pinky is all, "Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering?" And Pinky says, "I think so, Brain. But won't Mr. Hoover notice a missing evening gown?"
Yes, literally that. Like, he'll just say the most random ass thing.
Oh, my God. Okay, see, now I have to catch up on it.
Watch the
I
reboot.
freaking love it.
The reboot's amazing. What else do I like to watch? Oh, there's so many good shows out.
So, I mean, it's a bad joke. I know I try to keep politics out, but this one, it's, again, if it's, they call it bipartisan, I'm okay with us slamming it. The joke was, it was on a libertarian forum. It's like, where does all the American taxpayer money go? And it was Wacko's World, where he goes naming every single country, but he doesn't name the United States. But he names every country in the world.
Well, because we shipped our
I
jobs
love
off to
that.
China.
That was one of the that song was actually one of the reasons that I learned all the countries of the world.
Nice.
Because I had it memorized at one point.
Is it sad that I've listened to that song a lot of times and haven't memorized the countries of the world at all?
Now, here's the thing. There's actually a couple of YouTube videos where they memed the video where it's like certain things trigger certain events. Like, one was based on the GDP of the nation, the song either speeds up or slows down.
I love those so much.
And some of those, the name of the country comes out so slow. But then it has a little pop-up. When we get to the EU, slow the video down or you're going to miss it all. It gets to the EU, it's like, it goes on to the other area.
Oh, man, those are the best videos ever. I love those things so much.
One of my favorites is the Mulan song, Be a Man. But every time someone makes an S sound, it causes an extreme zoom in and a distortion, but only for the sound of the S. It was funny because I showed it to my daughter and my son, my oldest ones, saying, "Can you figure out what the trigger is?" And they couldn't figure it out. It was great.
You know how you were talking about things happen for a reason?
Yes.
I was at school during the COVID times for this one class for editing where we had to go in for a couple things. And I just happened to walk out and I saw this girl carrying a painting and I looked at that and I told my teacher I had about it. And then it just happens that the teacher pops in right there and I start talking to her. She follows me on Instagram. We're friends now. And I wasn't initially going to take 15 hours, but I'm going to take her class now. And I'm going to learn how to paint and do a whole bunch of stuff in there. And she said to me that one of her missions is to actually help me get out of my own way. I think that's your biggest thing. You are your own worst enemy right now. And but she's one of those moments that's going to possibly really change that, it's really going to set off that path. And then having all of this support over here, of course, and the chat and over on this podcast, knowing you guys on, Facebook and our little group, that's going to really also help. So I think I'm going to get past it.
I'm struggling really hard not to bust out into song.
Because right now the lyrics are being thrown out on the chat for Be a Man.
Yes.
Oh my God.
With all the strength of a raging fire, mysterious as the dark side of the moon.
You know what else is crazy? I'll go to a musical, right? And I'll be enjoying it, right? But the music will come on, and I'll start to kind of lose focus, and I'll think about this magical moment happening somewhere else in my head.
So
that happens all the time.
Being egged on.
What I have to do is I have to take there's a song that I wrote. It's my favorite song that I've ever written. When I do release an album, which it will happen, it's going to be the title track. And I started making the music video for it.
Yeah.
And the way that I did it is I was using a program that I took each track, broke it out separately. Each track creates its own visual effect unique to that sound. And the whole thing goes composites into a great video. But my old computer couldn't power through. It did like 80% of the tracks that started just dying on me. So now I have this new computer. I need to get it copied over here and finish it.
Do it. Wish it, as Brian Griffin's
let's
book
get down
said,
to business.
Wish it, want it, do it.
Defeat the Huns. Send me daughters.
When I asked for sons.
Dee-whoop. Do y'all watch Family Guy?
I do.
I used to.
Wish it, want it, do it. That's Brian Griffin's fictional book in the show.
Oh my God. With all the blank pages in it.
Wish it. That's what you have to do. Wish it, want it, do it. Wish the song will be done. Want the song to be done.
Oh, the song is done.
Do the song. Do it. Well, wish it, want it, do it. Release the album, wish it, want it, do it, and we'll be happy.
Well, I do have an income again. So I will be getting my music mastered again. And once I have enough mastered for an album, the guy that's doing the mastering also has a label, and I'm going to see if he'll have me if I could sign on to his label.
I was going to say, shall you be on the Spotify?
I shall be on the Spotify. I shall be on the Apple iTunes, and I shall be anywhere and everywhere that I possibly can.
Well,
Eventually, I'm going to have to figure out a way to come sing backup for you or something.
So she just comes over one time. She's like, back up. There, I did it.
Exactly. Because what else do you need?
But that would be amazing though. That would be like the one song that everybody always talks about. Like, do you remember how cool it was when on that one song where that lady just sang back up, literally back up? Like, it made no sense, but we loved it, you know? Like, that's the thing that people will love. Like, when you just get weird, people love that. You know, people love weird.
And then there's those people that they make the one goofy song that gets super popular, but all their serious music never makes it anywhere. And they're like, but I hate that song. It doesn't represent me. And then there's those others that are like, hey, that's my one hit. Let's keep going.
It's like Heart. They play alone all the time, but they talk about how they hate that they had to write that song because it didn't represent them at all, you know?
But at the same time, Heart has a lot of great songs. So
yeah, like Crazy on You is epic.
Oh, yeah. As soon as you said that, all I heard was Crazy on You. Of course, I can't hit those notes.
Oh, my God. But you could post a video on YouTube, though, because there's always those videos where people take an actual song and screw with the notes and say, and they make the title of the song, and then but in the title of the song, they end up saying, can't hit those notes. It's hilarious.
Have you ever seen the Smash Mouth All-Star song, but the lyrics are nothing but Can't Stop Running?
I think so. I feel like that song's overplayed. I feel like it was never as good as people wanted it to be.
But the whole song's like, but you can't stop running, and you can't stop running, and you can't stop running.
You can't stop running, and you can't. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And you can't stop running, but you can't stop running, and you can't stop running. It's just so goddamn funny.
I know that song got really popular because of
Shrek.
Shrek.
Yeah, Shrek.
Yes. But the songs, there's I've loved Leonard Cohen for so long. And his version of Hallelujah is my favorite.
That's
that's the man who wrote it. And I absolutely love it. And then I heard it in Shrek and I was like, I know this song.
Oh, I just thought of something.
It is such a tough song to sing. It is so tough.
It is.
The biggest thing.
I don't think I have it mastered yet. I've been trying that one for some time, and I don't know that I have the range to do it.
The fact that you can sing it all is impressive, to be honest.
For me, that song is an untouchable for me. I can't. I don't like. I did in karaoke "In the Air Tonight," And that was kind of frightening because some people got like that look on their face, like, I will fucking kill you if you fuck up this song.
Yeah, I just don't know that I can vocally do some of that. I mean, I try really hard because I love the song and I want to be able to sing it and sing it well, but I just don't know if I can do it.
Certain people just can't be covered though, like Phil Collins. His voice is just too unique. You just can't.
You can do I Can't Dance. that.
Yeah.
But I think you can do it, Bexy. I think you'll get there. I mean, you seem to sing pretty well. You sing better than I can, which is not at all. So you got a better chance than I do.
I don't know. It's one of those things. Maybe one day I'll do it and post it.
Yeah, try it, man. Twitter can't get enough of you, from what I remember. Before I left it again. Do anybody got anything else they want to know about this strange little creature you're talking to? I call myself I call myself that all the time. I don't like it.
What did I do this time?
In her hair tonight. Wait, that isn't it.
So, yes, I actually wrote a dirty version of In the Air Tonight.
Wait, who? Really? I want to hear it.
I wrote a supernatural version of the 12 Days of Christmas. So.
Ooh.
I like that. That sounds good.
Although you might have to change it to 15 seasons of Supernatural. No, we don't have to count 7.
Right.
Yeah, we could cut 3 seasons out and go down to the 12 seasons of Supernatural. There are 12 good seasons.
Am I crazy for never watching that show except for Scooby Natural? Am I crazy?
No, it's you got to have it's not for everybody. It was a great show. It won TV Guide's Viewers' Choice Award 3 years in a row. But it's not for everybody. It really isn't. But I mean, if you like dark humor and you like the acting got really good. It started out really cheesy. The storylines were kind of cheesy. The monsters were kind of cheesy, but it got better and better because as the show got renewed each season, they got a bigger and bigger budget because the show was just getting more and more popular. But definitely, if you watch the first episode, if Woman in White, the pilot episode, doesn't hook you, it may not be the show for you because that episode was brilliant.
My mind just bounced around again, and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, people said in the chat that my voice is amazing. I'm sitting here like, what? They like my voice, damn it, and that's amazing. This is what happens. I bounce around constantly.
Justin's coming up with something. He says, DeVerne, don't take offense to this, please, ... and we're just waiting for him to finish.
Oh, geez, what's he going to say?
And
Brandy says, what was that earlier today? We were talking about positivity and thinking positive of yourselves.
That was, yeah. Brandy and I had a talk about that today. And Brandy was having kind of a rough day. I'm glad that she made it on the episode tonight.
I'm always glad when I see her pop up in the chat. All of the people that pop up.
Yes. There's some people that I'm missing.
The chat's awesome.
Oh my goodness. Justin says, when you call yourself a strange little creature, an image of Gollum from Lord of the Rings popped into my head, but instead of the ring, he had a camera in one hand and a model of train in the other. Please don't take that away. That's the wrong way.
Yeah, she's cracking up over it.
I love that. That's amazing.
Also, DeVerne's all precious.
Precious. Give me the precious.
I'm over here.
I want the model train now. Give it to me now. Precious.
And I'm over here thinking about the shirt that I own that says, I don't run, I'm a fat little hobbitses.
And you own it, and we love you for it.
What's it got in its pockets?
Lots of model trains.
The precious doesn't go there.
Justin says, I'm not trying to make fun of you, bro, I promise.
Dude, I didn't think you were.
It's all good, Justin.
I thought it was funny. I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, and actually, Brandon was saying it needs to be turned into art.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, but my talent isn't there yet. I want to paint
and
this.
And Kat's like, I think we would exceed the length of the podcast, which we are coming up on 2.5 hours here. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, is there any last minute questions on mental health or any of my stuff they want to ask me? Because I want to answer. Okay.
Just when I hear strange little creature Gollum pops in my head. That was Justin.
I will forever be the fool on the hill, the strange little creature.
That's a different strange little creature that pops in my head. When I hear
Now
strange
I'm
little
going to
creature, I
start
think of a
calling
younger
you
Justin
Smeagol.
Bieber.
I used to be a Beatles fan, but I still love Fool on the Hill because that song describes me completely.
I'm not seeing.
Completely.
We're going to give everybody about a minute here to answer if they have any questions.
Yes, ask me stuff, man. I'm begging for it. I want it.
So, if M&M's melt in your mouth but not in your hands, what happens if you put it in your armpits?
I don't know.
Ew.
I thought of a different place you could put it, but I think we all know
Yeah.
what happened there.
It'll melt.
It'll become
That says ew.
it'll become extra chocolatey.
Ah, it's a bit nutty.
Oh
my
God!
Lord.
See, this is what happens when you finally break me out my show. It takes 2.5 hours, but this is what you get.
Hey, that's awesome. We like it. We prefer you out of your shell.
Hey, bring me on again if you ever want. I don't care. I'm cool.
Brandy said
Brandon
no.
says
Oh,
no
go for it.
question, but thank you so much for sharing, DeVerne.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And then
Justin says, again, DeVerne, I am just glad you had a chance to come full circle tonight. It often comes from unexpected places, but if you carry this energy with you, you will get where you want to be.
Now that's the question: is will I keep it going? Because I often let it come up, and I'm like, you know what, you can fizzle out. You know, I do that all the time.
Nah, and that's the thing. Also, one thing I've learned, and this actually came from Albert Einstein, and it is probably one of the most true quotes that I've heard, which is the secret to success is work hard, play harder, and keep your mouth shut. Meaning, don't talk about what you're going to do, because that will demotivate you. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Now I just see what's his face? Oh God, the actor from Transformers lost his ever-loving mind.
But Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf. Do it.
Just do it. No, yeah, I definitely do. But see, that's the problem. Like, I feel like every decision I want to make, it's like I still have that mentality for whatever dumbass reason. Like, I got to ask my parents. It's like, hey, can you help me with this, or should I do this? Like, I keep doing that instead of just doing things.
Just do it. Take your
Kat says,
destiny in your own hands.
he sent him a transcript of the chat. And Justin says, just listen to this podcast when you have doubts, man. It will give you the spark.
You know, it's probably true. I think it will.
Yep, the cat, or listen to the podcast. Yeah, what Justin said.
Or I'll probably, or it's either that, or I'll be like, you know what? Here's what I wanted to do. Here's what I should have done. Yeah, see, I'll do that same thing with the podcast. I'll be like, here's what I wanted to say, and I didn't say it. Why didn't I do that? You
And
know,
then-
like,
Brandy says, and when in doubt, have a friend kick you in the ass to get going. He says, limbers up the leg.
all my friends are miles away. They can't physically kick me.
I was like, don't lie, E. You're not limbering up your leg. You're a capitalist. You're gonna hire somebody to limber their leg up and kick him.
he'll
Damn
get
right.
his best
Damn right.
person on it. He'll get his best person on it.
I'll go ahead and hire someone that's not in Major League Soccer, just in that league right below it. You know, like what we have here in Sacramento. They could use the extra money, and man, can they kick!
You sure you don't want to get Patrick Mahomes to kick me? Because that would probably be a tough
Now I'm channeling my inner Ursula.
kick.
Oh
Ooh,
no!
I was like,
I like that.
I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch. But you'll find that nowadays I've mended all my ways, repented, seen the light, and made a switch.
That's the thing I think a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people would know this about me. I listen to a lot of dark music. Like, I seem like, oh, he would listen to the happiest stuff. No, I like to listen to metal and depressing alternative rock and indie rock. Like, that's the good stuff, man.
I like to
Music-
break my neck headbanging.
That's
Brandy
a good
says
man.
he couldn't kick me in the ass, but
Yes,
I still told him to harass me.
I know roughly where you live, Brandy. I could find you.
Justin says, I have coworkers in Kansas City, Missouri. I can give them a call. LOL.
Oh, shit. This man's got connections. Oh, God.
Yeah, see? We got a little bit of networking. We got a little capitalism going. Yeah, we'll get your ass kicked.
Network. Yeah,
But
yeah,
we don't mean hospitalized. We mean literally a swift kick in the ass to get you going.
Hey, I mean, whatever works. Whatever cold starts this motor, man, that's what we need. We need a cold start for this motor. It's a little rusty in there.
All right, so DeVerne, again, thank you very much for being willing to come on the show and be a guest.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I'm glad that everybody else in the chat sees what we see in you, and I hope that gives you that spark to keep pursuing your dreams. Keep going for that photography thing. The only person that needs your permission to do stuff is you. You don't need anybody else's permission.
Right.
Definitely just, do what you need to do. And if you're having a bad day, take a day. Take a day for yourself. It happens.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with taking a day to take care of yourself, whether it's mentally or emotionally or physically. And don't consider that a setback.
Consider it you're stopping to catch your breath.
Yes, consider it a pause. Just remember to unpause and get back to what you really, really want to do.
And that's the thing I need to work on is the unpausing. That's the great unpausing. I should write a movie called The Great Unpausing.
Start writing it now.
Right?
Write the opening paragraph tonight.
Maybe I need to write a poem about that.
There you go.
Yeah, and if you allow me to use it, that would be really amazing because I could help me.
I mean, yeah, I have the gears are clicking in my head.
So I'm just curious, who's next week? What do we got coming up here?
I just hope I gave you a quality podcast. That's my hope.
Oh, next week is... Oh, that's going to be a good one. This is one that Betsy booked.
Ooh,
Yes.
what is it?
Next week is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what it is. Just say this is something I've actually wondered about, too. Like, I've literally wondered about this. So this is awesome.
I have as well, which is when I befriended this person and he started telling me about, his life and everything, my immediate thought was, dude, I need you to be on my podcast. And he was like, I'd love to. Oh my God, I'd love to. So yes, this is going to be awesome.
And Brandy was saying that she does free writing every day and it really helps keep things going. Free writing is awesome. And Kat, you say you can't write. Once you learn how to free write, you can write.
What?
I know I annoy people with how fast I can bust out like a poem or something like that. Like it literally takes me 5 minutes when I get an idea in my head.
And Brandy can attest that people get annoyed when I bust things out too.
Like all art is just figuring out how to unlock your soul through certain mediums. That's all it is.
I mean,
I love that.
What's really great is when E and I feed off of each other and we're writing and we end up with some epicness.
Yeah.
I remember that because we had that chat that one day on Facebook and we were all just like rapping at each other and it was
amazing. Fun. That was so much fun.
Why
it's always so much fun.
We have to do that again. We have to do that again. Like,
but
what are we doing?
We do need to wrap this up. I'm getting prompted by the wife.
Yeah.
Because it is getting late here, and I know that it's getting really late on the East Coast.
Yes.
And Brandon just said that's an amazing comparison, DeVerne.
Thank you.
Now,
thank you again, DeVerne, for coming on. And
you're welcome.
I know at first you were nervous about it and everything, but seriously, man, you were awesome.
Yeah, this was a great episode, and we're thankful that got you on here. And little did you know, it was actually going to be a therapy session for you.
Yeah, I think it was more therapy.
Little did any of us know.
Yeah, this was different.
This is what we do.
I hit different. That's
this is why we do this.
I #hit different.
Kat, I need a break, if you know what I mean.
I don't. Unless it means
I'm a little lost on that myself.
Unless it means you're gonna piss your pants and you need to leave. So like that's okay. Just do it.
I mean, if you're listening, you could go ahead and pee or poo while listening to the podcast. It'd be a poop cast. That's fine. As long as we're not doing it while we're on the air. DeVerne, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh my God, that's the best.
Oh my God, stop.
Oh my God, can this go on for like 5 more hours? Because I'm not done yet.
Justin says a piece of that Kit Kat bar. I freaking love him.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
Oh God, can I have a Kit? There's Kit Kats downstairs, and now I need to get one. So this podcast has to end because I need Kit Kats.
Yes. All right. So everybody, again, thank you, DeVerne, for coming on. Thank you, everybody in the chat for coming in and helping to help make this episode great. I mean, seriously, this was a great episode. You guys are all awesome. So next week we have another really amazing guest. Like Bexy and I both said, this is something that we both have wondered about. We both thought about, and now we actually get an opportunity to have someone talk about a condition and how it impacts mental health. What the condition is, you'll have to come back and find out. Until then, I'm E.
I'm Bexy.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.